Hello, everyone, and welcome to GuildGab episode 106. This is a show all about Guild Wars 2, and today we are going to be discussing the End of Dragons live stream, which revealed a bunch of exciting features about the upcoming expansion, End of Dragons. I'm your host, AuroraPeachy, and joining me today are our lovely, wonderful, fabulous, fantastic co-hosts. I was gonna say RPG Alex. I almost said it. Metallics, which is your best name yet, I gotta say. CorvusPlays and MMO Inks. All right, my gosh, it has been almost 2 years since we've had a GuildGab, you guys.
It has, yeah.
Has it really been almost 2 years?
November 2019, we did an episode on the second episode of the the first episode of the Icebrewed Saga. Because
did we not even do the second one?
Well, there was the prologue. There was the prologue, Bound by Blood, and then there was the other one whose name I have already forgotten. Shadow. Whisper in the Dark. Whisper in the Dark. Yes, which I think was episode 1. So
yes.
Sorry for the hiatus, guys. Almost 2 years. I know.
While.
Chat's already like, how dare? 2 years since a GuildGab.
Well, I mean, it was either sort of that, or we could have had like GuildGabs about the 3 DRMs that we got. I don't know how much content we could have got out of that, Peachy.
Oh my gosh. It was rough. It was rough. I mean, COVID hit and like the episodes didn't have voice acting, and I think everybody like the world was on fire, and I think that it was just kind of like everybody was just kind of that hurt the Icebrewed Saga in general.
Yeah.
Where it already wasn't, it was a lot of people's least favorite season. But we're going to talk about End of Dragons, because the hype that is coming out of End of Dragons is amazing. And I've got to say that I feel like it's the Heart of Thorns era again, as far as like the hype and like the way they're doing the marketing, you know?
Yeah. Well, because with Path of Fire, like the last true expansion, we didn't really get a whole lot of marketing material for it, did we? There was the announcement, and then there was the live stream of, oh, by the way, here are all your elite specializations. And then compared to how it had been with Heart of Thorns, if you guys were around back then, that we were getting drip fed like little tidbits every week, and we do a set. I know, and we do like an episode on each elite specialization. And yeah, it, like you say, it feels like the train's left the station again.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Colin's back.
We've got Colin back.
Oh my god.
It feels good. I think as well, like I don't really remember much of the kind of build up to Path of Fire, but Heart of Thorns really stands out to me as like a huge, hype moment. And we were in like the middle of a content draw at the time, but like the hype is why I remember.
Yeah. It was the promise of content, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. We had the betas for the elite specs and stuff. Like, it feels like we're back in that kind of almost a golden age. And I think we'll get into that stuff later. But the Colin's sort of message at the end, talking about how End of Dragons isn't the end of Guild Wars, I think is kind of is a huge breath of life. I think a lot of people needed to hear that.
Yeah. They had said that before, but this stream where like everybody was watching, I'm glad he specified that. He was very, very clear on this is not the end of Guild Wars 2, just because it's called End of Dragons. It's the end of the Dragon Saga. Don't know how that's gonna end. They have been putting a phrase out there, the cycle is reborn. And it's in the marketing. It's on the website in the marketing. It was in the trailer. It was at the end of the new trailer, which was really, really cool. We could talk about that. So it's like a rebirth, and I'm wondering if it means that the dragons, it's actually not the end of the dragons, because it's just going to be the end of these dragons.
It's very Wheel of Time, isn't it? Like, because that's that TLDR, it's all about like a dragon cycle and it all reoccurs Spoilers for 14 books, but
Thanks.
Thanks, Alex.
I don't have to read it now. Thanks.
Yeah, it's well worth it. Well worth it. There's more to it than that.
Yeah,
But,
maybe we'll the whole Aurene turns into a battery, maybe the slow release of magic from her, and the kind of we've had these theories for a while of how
Long time.
like the kind of cycle of magic is necessary. The destruction stuff maybe not so we'll just have to see kind of what they're going for, but it is interesting, the cycle.
yeah.
Who knows?
But
what do you think
I suppose-
What do you think makes the elder dragons angry?
Being killed?
They're
like-
hungry.
Well, being killed would upset anybody, I guess. But
Being killed and being
they're
hungry.
hungry.
Yeah.
They're just hangry, and they wake up and they just want to. Because it's interesting, the cycle reborn. So I assume broad strokes. Mother, Aurene, Bubbles, whatever, however it shakes out, Kunavang, however it shakes out, the cycle is reborn. So Aurene goes to sleep eventually, and she regulates the magic, but when she wakes up, she won't be angry. Because the problem with the elder dragons is they wake up, they're angry, they destroy and kill everything, and then they go back to sleep.
I don't necessarily even ever thought of it as they're angry. It's just what they do. Like when a hurricane happens, it's not angry. It's just what a hurricane does. It happens and it causes destruction. So you could say it's angry. Now, so I think like Zaitan, basically the ones that don't have the mind powers that can like communicate with us, because those ones like Jormag, there was definitely some malicious intent behind there, right? Like, so I think there's different flavors of dragons.
It's like the force of nature thing, but then with Jormag, it's like they are angry about something, or like you said, there's intent there. Well, with Zaitan was definitely much more like a hurricane sort of thing. But then again, he was building an army, and being quite strategic. So I don't know.
I always got, I always got the impression, like thinking back to it, I always, I always think of Kralkatork now as somewhat of a more tragic character.
Yeah,
than
definitely.
Yeah, Kralkatork definitely
was. He was. I just got the impression that he was old and tired and angry, and then when we killed him, it was almost a sort of like a resigned acceptance, and that he wasn't totally that bothered about it.
Kralkatork was suffering because of all of the magic coming in.
Right.
And it's inside, like we went into like its heart, but it was like we could hear
which by the way we caused.
Right. Let's
we
not
caused
forget.
him to suffer.
We caused it to suffer, and then we went in and put it out of its misery, unfortunately. But yeah, like it was actively suffering because of all the magic coming in and all the different kinds of magic creating chaos with each other, which is why I think Aurene is going to be so instrumental, is because she's the prism dragon, the prismatic dragon that is going to be able to like filter this magic, because all of the magics are colliding and creating chaos. And I think she's going to be able to she's going to learn, I think, because they said End of Dragons is her story. I think she's going to learn how to deal with all of this magic and kind of put things right.
I hope that...
hope we kill her.
How? You're off the podcast.
Dude,
okay.
fine.
We have 3 members now. We're looking for a replacement. So if anybody would like to apply...
The bar is literally this low. You just gotta like Aurene.
You just have to not wish death on Aurene.
Yeah, not wish death on Aurene. I hope they do a good job of explaining the cycle itself and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to know if Aurene's sort of like, is she sort of like a natural occurrence, or if we just kind of like we've raised her to become this, but like, I don't know, how is she able, like, really to handle all of these different magics if if something as powerful as Kralkatork,
she was prismatic back from her egg. Her egg was a prism. Like it reminds me of Glint's lair. I don't know how, because Glint wasn't a prismatic dragon. As far as we know, none of her other offspring were prismatic. Aurene is very unique, and maybe I don't know if she did anything to birth Aurene special like that. I don't think we have that information, but
is this something that happens every cycle, but maybe this is the only the kind of like is something like Aurene born every cycle or
That's a
something?
good question.
There was
But like maybe they get killed off, or maybe that's
if
why
the
they're
sea
angry because
dragon?
they're wanting to destroy everything to prevent something like Aurene.
Yeah. What if the
I don't know.
it's like the prophecy, right? A prophecy that a
Yeah.
prismatic dragon will be born. What if like Bubbles, what if the deep sea dragon is like a prismatic dragon as well? And when Kralkatorrik died and called out mother, what if like that's the mother and then Orene's going to become the mother of the next cycle of dragons?
yeah. It's
Oh,
interesting
about-
because
dude, she gives maybe that's it, dude. Maybe she gives birth to the next cycle. And it's like,
Well-
oh, these are my children, so don't worry, guys. You know, they're gonna be raised to be chill and stuff. I can't
Well-
handle all of the magic, so I need
Yeah.
to hatch these.
I sort of have an alternative theory.
I love it.
I think that Aurene is special. I think that she is Dragons 2.0. But in order for her to actually work, we have to get rid of the other elder dragons. And I don't think Bubbles is going to come across as evil or necessarily malicious. And so
Yeah.
you're going to be left with this choice of you have to kill a good dragon,
Oh no.
Bubbles, in order to restart the cycle properly.
Oh no.
And that's the and Bubbles is not going to want to sacrifice him or herself.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to sort of kill an almost innocent dragon in order to reset the cycle.
No.
well, interestingly,
I
totally
love
I've
it.
been-
I can see
I've
that.
for Miss Sins, I've been playing through the DRM story because I've still not finished it. And there's a conversation between Aurene and Jormag where Jormag's talking about the nature of dragons and how Primordus behaves and how she behaves and compares it to what Aurene is. And Aurene makes note of the fact that because she is a prismatic dragon, she refracts and reflects, that she's not it's the conversation almost reads like she's not like a unique entity on her own, but she's sort of a vessel for the redistribution of magic.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of it that way. But yeah, I mean, maybe Jormag was just being rude to her, but it was really kind of interesting the way that Jormag was talking about Aurene's properties in how she's dealing with the absorbed magic. So yeah, if Aurene is the sort of ground zero for a reborn dragon cycle, then potentially Jormag was telling the truth. She could see into the future. Or they could see into the future, rather. Yeah. Blimey.
I can't.
I just wonder what maybe this is I feel like this is a pivot in terms of the story, in that we're gonna, after this expansion, whatever happens, it frees them up to do stories that aren't about dragons.
Yeah.
That was always my
Thing
impression.
is,
Mm-hmm.
but the dragons are so massive. It's I don't really know what kind of, I mean, it's, I guess it gives them some sort of creative freedom and stuff, but it's going to be strange, I think, going to kind of smaller scale stories. The next expansion.
Yeah.
No, I think that's
What-
a good thing though, because like season 1 wasn't about the dragons.
Yeah.
It was Scarlet. In the end, we found out that Mordramoth was manipulating her, but it wasn't. It was more about Scarlet. It was more on a small scale. And personally, Scarlet is my favorite villain. It's my favorite antagonist. So
yeah.
that's a big complaint about the dragon story to a lot of people. Is it's so
They're not
massive, it's
villains.
so
Yeah.
big that it's like
They're not really characters.
right. It's hard to make them characters. I think that's why they made like Mordramoth. We kind of heard the whispers. That's why Jormag was very vocal, because it made Jormag more of a character rather than an entity like Kralkatorrik or Zaitan. So if they can focus on, okay, here's the villain that is more relatable, because it's hard to relate to a dragon. But if you have someone like Scarlet or Joko or someone a little more
like identify.
Right.
Yeah.
right, someone closer, more real in front of us, we can see it, because we hardly even see the elder dragons. It's just like this entity we're going against. The villain is the destruction they're causing, not them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm super excited if that's where they're going with the future of Guild Wars 2, because that's what I relate to more. Give me a character to love.
I just hope we don't circle back to the gods,
Hmm.
because that would
Yeah.
feel like a different dragon, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what excites me about not having to deal with gods or dragons is that then we don't need the plot armor of Timies and Arenes to fix the story for us, because what is the answer to dealing with this colossal enemy, right?
Yeah.
And then you can have more impactful stories with a Joko type character, let's say, who then doesn't suddenly get eaten by a dragon, as funny as that might be for some people. Like, you can have a real battle and a real engagement between character and villain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess
Politics and stuff.
Yeah, I guess we'll
It'd be-
find out in the in like probably the Living World season after the expansion.
Yeah.
Because Grouch is in charge of that, isn't he? Josh Foreman's back. No, Josh Davis.
Josh Davis, yeah,
Davis.
different
Josh
Josh.
Davis is back as head of live operations.
Nice. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to get back on track with the notes, so we're on our second point.
Oh, I'm so excited Colin's back. I'm so excited Grouch is back. I'm so excited that they're going back to their to what a lot of people consider the hypest
Absolutely, yeah.
part, where they were focused on
Man.
the player satisfaction. They weren't just trying to pump out content, which is what it felt
Yeah,
like in the Path of Fire era. So they're going back to community first. Let's be transparent with what's coming. We got more information on alliances, that the betas are coming this year. They're telling us about DirectX 11. There's going to be betas for that. There's going to be betas for the elite specs. So they're giving us a lot of this content in beta. They're testing it with the players, getting feedback, and it's been a while since we've had that kind of communication. So
For sure, yeah.
so excited for that. That was the golden era of Guild Wars 2. So stick with that. That worked.
2022 is Guild Wars 2 Reborn.
Yes.
We're calling it now.
Yes.
February 2022.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I've not been this hyped about Guild Wars in a long time.
Honestly,
Icebird Saga
same.
was just
Yeah.
There was a lot of rough moments, I think, and it was tricky.
I
But
mean,
no,
it brought back GuildGab from the dead.
It did, didn't it? I've been pushing for this. Haven't I been pushing for this for like a year? We've just been like, we should just get together and have a chat and see what's
to
going
be
on.
fair, yes. We talked about, hey, let's talk about let's have a GuildGab. Yeah, but now we've got all kinds of stuff to talk
Now
about.
we've got it.
Yes.
I mean,
going back to the story, the new trailer that was in the live stream, there was this character that was very prominent around the Dragon Jade technology, which I think is going to be so cool and probably give the Asura a run for their money, which I would love for like Timy's head to explode. Like, because like this Dragon Jade is just like beyond
Me
anything. Not literally, you're also fired.
yeah.
I want it to be like more powerful than anything the Asura have ever seen.
See, I kind of assumed the NPC in that was Empress June. I don't know whether or not.
I don't know if she's an Empress. I don't know if they ever said that. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think it's June, Joon. I think that's who we saw speaking, who we heard speaking, and who we saw around the Dragon Jade technology.
Yeah.
There's so much mystery with her. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be bad, right? Like the Dragon Jade stuff, it has to be bad.
I think
right?
it's gonna be.
It's how they use it. The Dragon Jade itself
and then
isn't
Arene
bad.
turns up. Yeah, sure, but if they're extracting like dragon energy or something
They're
from
just using a resource. Is what
yeah,
I think.
but Arene is just one giant Dragon Jade, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, she's gonna get kidnapped.
Oh no.
She's gonna get armed.
Why do you want such bad things?
I don't
for
want.
Ori?
I'm just. That's my prediction.
I didn't even think about that. Them seeing her as like a battery.
Or maybe she absorbs it and it's not good for her and turns her bad, and then we kill her.
Oh my god.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if you if there was a piece of artwork at the very end of the announcement, and it's got the deep sea dragon sort of as the traditional Chinese serpent coming out of the ocean and wrapped around this tower, and this tower is covered in this sort of green
The
energy,
green,
Mhm.
yeah.
and I think it's a fairly safe bet to connect the green energy from this tower with the dragon jade technology.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm leaning towards the fact that they're doing some a little bit mean to the deep sea dragon, which could
Mm.
probably be why suddenly we can. Well, here's the thing, because they said in the trailer that despite the fact that everything's been going on over in Tyria for 250 years or whatever, it's not like progress has stopped
Yeah.
in Cantha, right?
Right.
So suddenly, if we can take Mitrin's airship, which is probably another conversation we need to have about the Aether Blades coming back,
Yeah.
over if suddenly we can take an airship over the sea, it implies that the deep sea dragon is wrapped up in something,
Mm.
or is unavailable to cause trouble.
Or it's a ton of energy and the deep sea dragon wants to eat it.
Yeah, is attracted to the dragon jade energy.
Maybe they call for help or something, and that's why we
Yeah.
get sent over.
I was under the impression that June was actually working with Bubbles. It could have been Kunavang that she's working with.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like Bubbles. Maybe it's just my want for Bubbles to be more of a character, because I love
Yeah.
that theory that we're gonna have to like kill Bubbles, right? Like, because I think that would just be like choose to kill a good dragon to restart the
Yeah,
cycle.
that'd
I
be
really
cool.
like that theory. I don't know. I got
As long
the
June could be bad though. Did anyone else get that vibe?
I got the
You're
vibe that
wrong.
she was good, because she's
Ah.
working for the good of Cantha. She's using the Dragon Jade from the dialogue in the trailer. It's all about the preservation of Cantha. I think that might be one of our
but
big
that could
conflicts.
but that could so easily tip over into
Sure.
bad for
Especially
everyone
when we
else,
come in,
right?
because remember, they are not blind to Balthazar's death, the dragon's death. All of these things are affecting Cantha as well, and they're all about preserving Cantha. So when we come in, the commander who has caused all of this destruction, when we walk in, I really don't think we're going to be very welcomed in Cantha. They're going to be
Bunch of
pissed at us.
Hellsayers.
They go like, "Yo, sup?" And then
So
like,
there's and I've seen this before, not only in chat but elsewhere. But there's a side speculation that Bubbles, that Lissa actually transformed Bubbles into human form.
Oh my god.
So what
Okay.
if Bubbles is actually June,
Oh my god.
and June is harnessing Dragon Jade energy because the dragons feed on energy, magic, whatever.
Wow.
And
That's
so
awesome.
June is making this Dragon Jade engine to create this energy, which is actually Bubbles, who's doing so in order to consume the magic.
Interesting.
Wow.
Maybe that's an interesting.
That's
one.
wild. I like it. I want to watch the trailer again and hear the dialogue with that specifically in mind.
But then again, that sits at odds with the conversation that we had about 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, saying that we don't want the gods to be involved in the.
Well, the
Yeah,
gods
yeah,
don't
right,
necessarily have
right.
to be involved, other than Lissa did this before the
Right.
gods left, right?
Well, we don't know what happened to Lissa's mirror, do we?
Right. We know Alyssa was involved, like when Balthazar was around here doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
And she like stuck around even after they all left, because like Cormir kind of stuck around and then Lissa stuck around. Though, yeah, we got very few clues. That would be cool to bring back that thread. They did say that a lot of open threads and stuff. They're gonna kind of wrap it up because it's the end of the saga. So they're
Right.
gonna bring back a lot of lore pieces. So very.
There's also someone says, can't you just absorb the energy that's in the jade? But if the jade has to be processed somehow, and that's how
Yeah.
they get the dragon jade engine or magic or energy out of it, then it needs to be processed in some
So
way.
I mean, like the jade, it's like the jade just on its own, it's just this inert substance, right? Because it, you would I assume they mined it from the Jade Sea after Shoro Tagachi exploded and did his thing way back before the beginning of factions. So they can mine this rock, but it still needs to be infused with what we seem to be saying is some kind of dragon energy.
Well, when we started killing the dragons, it started infusing all of the jade, I think,
Yeah.
with the magic. Maybe they've been using the jade for a while, because we've only been killing all the dragons like for the past couple of years in game, right? Like it hasn't been that long.
It's been long. It's been,
but not like
8 years.
100 years. And I think there was something in the trailer about she's been using it, developing this technology for like a long time, like a century, which means that I got the impression that she's maybe like a century old. We've got Olivia situation going on. She has maybe the Dragon Jade is keeping June young, or if she's an elder dragon in disguise, then she would be like immortal. There's a lot of questions.
It's a lot of questions. It's, you know, it's really nice to see that, you know, that they're doing something new with Cantha, right? Rather than, because I think certainly I was skeptical when they first announced that we're going to Cantha. Again, maybe like a year and a half ago, that it was going to be set dressing for whatever else we're going to continue doing. But the fact that they've taken the existing Canthan stuff and built on it and looked at sort of relevant technologies that the Azura have developed and things that they've implemented over Interior and said, right, how can we reflect this kind of technological advancement in an area that we've not seen, rather than just going, oh yeah, back to the Jade Sea, you know, back to Xingje, here's the statue of Togo, and here are the Afflicted 2.0, you know. It's like,
God,
it would have been easy for them to kind of farm nostalgia.
Exactly, yeah.
They're already doing that simply by us going back to Cantha, so they don't have to rely. Like, there's going to be Naga, and we're going to see a lot of familiar creatures and things, of course. But yeah, they're doing so much more with it, and adding the Dragon Jade technology and the lore that's going to go along with that is something I'm just insanely excited for, because it's something brand new in Cantha. Like, there's infinite possibilities of what they could actually do. We saw the engineer concept art with that jade arm, the like jade prosthetic.
Cool.
So cool. Yeah. So cool.
So I guess that's a good time to ask the question: do we think Timey is going to end up in a Dragon Jade Golem, or
yes,
with Dragon Jade legs? Oh no, her legs aren't her only problem anymore. It's that she's dying.
She is.
Is the Dragon Jade gonna cure Timey?
She's not dying.
Yes, she's not. She's not dying, and it's.
I mean, they're not going to kill her. That's for sure.
No.
But
no, it's something that I've come to accept, and it's something that I have to live with. And I'm just trying to make the best of the situation, to be honest with you. So
he's fine. Timey's fine.
But yeah, I think that they're gonna take, because we were all expecting the story beat in A Star to Guide Us that it was going to be Timey in the Golem, right? And not Goric. Was it Goric who ended up in the Golem? Or was it Blish? Yeah.
Blish became a Golem.
Yeah. Like before, like I think we might have even discussed at the time, and certainly as I was going through the story, hey, they're setting this up for Timey to get put into a Golem at the end.
It really felt that way. Yeah.
And they pulled a switcheroo. So I mean,
well, not really a switcheroo. They just never drew that story out to that conclusion.
But it will be a switcheroo if they put her in Dragon Jade, and it'll be cool as well, because it means they don't have to do some sort of like yet another Azuran Golem model for it. It means that they've got the opportunity to actually make like something kind of cool out of Dragon Jade, you know?
Scruffy like, 3.0, Dragon Jade Scruffy.
Yeah. Can you imagine like if this is right, the concept artist at ArenaNet is like, right, we need you to make a fully enabled Dragon Jade Golem. Ah, what a project, man. That's cool.
Man. He's so cool.
Yeah.
But what if at the end, if we have to pull out all of the dragon energy from the Dragon Jade and basically render it inert? And what if Cantha like runs on Dragon Jade now? What if people have like Dragon Jade pacemakers and you're gonna kill everybody?
I definitly think that's going to be part of it. That's
going to be the politics.
I want to make a hard decision 100%. Like that.
Yeah. That Cantha does run on Dragon Jade, but Dragon Jade turns out maybe not the best thing ever.
Right.
But the thing is though, because it's an MMO and you have to have a single end state of the expansion, that the decision has already been made. It's not the player's choice.
Yeah.
See, if
That
this
part
was Skyrim,
sucks.
you could have just downloaded a mod to not kill the dragon. But
I'm excited that whatever we do, we're going to be traveling with Marjorie and Casimir. And Jory's finally going to get some more attention. She's been on the back burner for a while.
She has, hasn't she?
Oh my gosh.
When was the last time we see her in a DRM, or was it one of the old DRMs we saw her?
She
one of the originals
was in season 2 very prominently. Because that was Belinda and that whole arc.
Rest in peace.
And then a little bit in season 3, and then I think after that she kind of took a backseat to other characters. That's where, I think that's where they really started bringing Bram into the forefront.
What's really interesting?
She was in the. Was she not? She was in the the first episode of Iceberg Saga, I think.
She's made appearances, but she hasn't been like a major player.
She hasn't been like a character
for a while. Yeah. What was that, Inks?
So what's interesting about Jory is that for those who don't know, there's a creator called Deeg, and he does interviews with a lot of the developers of Guild Wars 2. He had one with Tom Abernathy, and Tom had basically said that there are particular characters, Jory being one of them, where they don't exactly know what to do with that story, and so unfortunately the characters get shelved for an indeterminate amount of time until they do have a story for them to continue to develop the character, because otherwise there's just too many characters on screen and none of them get a spotlight and so forth. So what's sort of interesting, I have my own theory about Jory. Way back in season 2, or maybe it was season 3, she was actually supposed to die.
That was the end of season 1. Season 1 finale.
Season 1. Okay. So in season 1, she was actually supposed to die, and ArenaNet changed their mind. Yeah. And I think that when they did that, they didn't really have a clear direction for where her character would go after that. And so unfortunately, we're sort of in this limbo with her. But what's really exciting now is we know that there is and I forget his name, but there's a detective character in Cantha. And Jory's a detective as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Karma?
Kama, I think.
Kama.
However, whatever. So he's a detective.
Rama. Thank you. Detective Rama.
Okay. So he's a detective and Jory's a detective. And so we're also going to have this sort of detective underlining to the story that's, I think, going to be really fun.
I kind of like that. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
And didn't they even say in the stream announcement that they were like, we actually want to get back to Marjorie being a private investigator?
Yeah.
Because that was originally what she was brought in for, because all the way back in season 1, there was we were welcoming the Aether Blades to Lion's Arch or something, and they killed Captain Theo Ashford, which opened up a spot for Ellen Keel on the Captain's Council, and Marjorie was brought in to figure out who did it, and that's how
that was her entire introduction, where she was the detective, and we worked with her to figure that out. Yeah. So
you guys remember E? Do you think we'll find out who E is?
No.
No.
I don't think so. But again, there was an interview, I think, with Bobby Stein about E, that they do know who E is.
Oh, really?
And there is a story there. That it's just not a story that connects to anything currently.
Oh, okay.
E is the friends we made along the way. But with Jory being back, it means that her and Cass is coming back as well, or she's going to be more prominent again.
Both of them.
So both of them back together, because
there's been some tension between them.
Been some drama.
Yeah. Worst couple ever.
Inks, you are also fired. We have 2 open spots on GuildGab, so send your applications to AuroraPeachy at gmail.com.
Somehow I'm the only one still gainfully employed here after 45 minutes.
After how many times you've been fired? I know.
No, no,
Yeah.
I
keep
know.
letting me back.
They're in the artwork. Cass and Jory
Yeah.
are in the cover
Yeah.
art for.
Love that. Love that.
Oh
art.
my god, it's so good
Mm.
with like
I
the
know,
harvest
right?
tower.
So cool.
Oh my
But
god.
do you know what? It was the one thing that does annoy me so slightly about it was the fact that they didn't give Jory a pistol, which we'll probably talk about towards the end of the thing.
I didn't
Mhm,
think about
mhm.
that. Maybe they
Because
didn't
that
want to
would've been-
spoil it in the artwork because they knew they weren't gonna
Yeah.
reveal it till later.
Well, that and those are their iconic weapons. Even Casimir.
True. Yeah.
Casimir's
But-
staff.
yeah.
But Casimir never changed from staff, right?
No,
No.
she was always
Every
OP
every
time.
detective needs a gun, dude,
Right?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
and a cigarette.
and a sick.
I
could
bet
tell
they'll give her one. I hope so. Maybe at some point during the story
Yeah.
she'll get her gun.
Yeah, because looking back on season 2, we should have seen a few things coming, shouldn't we? Like with the great sword, and somebody else got summit too. I can't remember who it was.
Who got what?
Oh, was it Rox? Did Rox get a staff at some point or something?
Bram's bow? No.
Yeah,
that was
Yeah,
before
Bram got the bow.
before the elite specializations were revealed, and we were all there. Hang on a minute, these guys are using.
then he lost
Almora,
the
who's a
bow.
guardian, did double sword in Icebrood Saga before she died. So that's why a big
spoilers.
that's why it's a spoiler. Sorry, spoilers for
her
the
and
Icebrood
great sword.
Saga.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had two swords, so that's why there's a theory that
Yeah.
Guardian's going to get offhand sword
Mm.
for
Whooshy,
the
whooshy.
elite specs. It's
Man,
not
if-
proof of anything. It's just that they've done that before,
Yeah,
giving
Yeah. Yeah.
Necros great swords, and so
Yeah.
I would love double sword Guardian.
double. I can see we're going to have a long discussion about these elite specs in a bit. aren't we?
Elite
Mhm,
specs. Oh
mhm,
my
mhm.
god! Do you think they're gonna reveal the Necro tomorrow? What it's
I
gonna
hope
be?
so.
Um,
I hope so.
I'd like to think so.
I hope so.
Or maybe they're just not ready. Maybe
If
they're
they-
leaving
Let's
us.
see if they do that. Well, if they reveal the
2
Necro
weeks,
this
right?
week, yeah, there's it's 2 weeks until the beta. So if they reveal the Necro this week, even if they just show us the full artwork, and maybe the name, I think they could do, but not tell us anything else about it. Tomorrow, and then next week do the third one that we're gonna get for the beta. I think would be perfect. So I
Mm.
definitely think we're gonna hear all about the Necro this week.
Yeah.
That would make
So-
the most sense.
So, what do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about the Virtuoso first, or dive straight into speculation about the Necro?
Well, we're on Necro.
Oh, we
Yeah,
are.
we're talking about Necro.
Necro, man.
Sorry, yeah, right. Well,
Corvus,
sorry,
what do you think about the Necro
I just switched
silhouette?
off there. Sorry.
I'm honestly pretty excited. I wasn't like I've never basically ever used any of the guns in Guild Wars. Like I just don't like I'm a swords guy or an axe guy or whatever. But I'm actually quite excited. I think like the theme of it could be super cool. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped.
have
The
you
kind of
got-
outlaw vibe or something. It's gonna be.
A lot of people are theorizing that the little orbs are like potions, so it's going to use
Oh,
some kind of
yeah.
like alchemy or potions.
That's cool.
maybe.
Mm.
Yeah, I've not looked at any sort of
I
theories
thought they
at
were
all.
grenades, but potions make sense.
You
too.
could lob the potions
That'd
and
be
they
cool,
could
too.
explode.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it could be like a grenade. There's a lot you can do, and with the pistol, you could do some kind of like infusing your bullets with like
Yes.
kind of like in The Witcher where you like
Yeah,
pour
I was just about to
on
say.
you
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you know infuse your sword, you pour a potion on it, like you pour a potion on your gun or on your bullets, on your ammunition.
I've got.
Yeah,
I've,
that'd be really cool.
the thing is, I've got a strong feeling it's going to be some kind of. It's going to be some kind of Condi spec, which is kind of weird because like Scourge is Condi, right?
Like every necro spec is gone.
I mean,
Like
every necro spec should be Scourge at this point, but
yeah,
like,
true.
I mean, actually, Power Reaper's fun though. Power Reaper's decent.
Power Reaper's really fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still probably my favorite. I think I just wonder what kind of role it's meant to play.
Yeah,
I think
mean-
Condi it could be full on Condi, but I don't think there's much of a
Condi's-
need for that kind of role.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
if the potions are
for-
support or something like that, you know,
yeah, but then
so-
Scourge was meant to be kind of supporty as well.
Yeah.
With the
Scourge is very
barrier.
supporty actually.
So like I don't know. I was thinking like hyper a bit more aggressive. You know,
Yeah.
I imagined like
what if he's like
you know vanilla Necros. I think it's like Shroud Skill 2 where you send out a thing and then you teleport.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
right to the end. I was imagining like you'd shoot and mark a target and then tell it like, but that's kind of thiefy, I guess. I don't know. I'm really interested to see what they'll do with it. I saw a Photoshop of it was like a minion mancer, but all of the heads of the minions were just guns.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw
I've seen that.
That was sick.
That'd be cool.
What if he's like the rat guy from Overwatch, where he throws a potion into his gun and then he shoots the potion?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
shoots the grenade, whatever.
Yeah.
The
I think
the barrel looks really big in the concept art, and then the new flame serpent weapon, the barrel is really big, like a cannon, like a hand cannon. Hand
Oh,
cannon
right.
necro.
So that could be kind of interesting because like when you use pistol on thief, it's a very agile, fast firing kind of weapon, especially if you double up and use unload. So you know on thief it is a very sort of fast, mobile kind of weapon. But like you say, if they go for a hand cannon route where it kind of slows down the rate of play, and
Yeah, I have this feeling it's not going to be a fast fire pistol like a. I don't think it's like that. I think it's going to be slower.
Same.
I just wonder what kind of role it's gonna play, but I think I'm excited to see just because I wasn't expecting it at all. You know, it could have been sword, it could have been anything. It would have been cool if it was shield. I was but pistol like
in hand shield,
Chat says gun fu.
gun fu, yeah.
I mean, they said that they're kind of like breaking the rules, breaking the mold for a lot of these, like taking away mesmer clones. It's the first time they've ever taken away mesmer clones and kind of replaced it with something else. So
I saw people saying maybe it has like kits, like NG kits or something. So
right, yeah.
You're gonna have to be a keyboard player to play the new Necro spec. It's gonna be
maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe they do away with Shroud altogether,
Yeah.
and it's you get a tool belt like
that'd be wild,
like an alchemist. Yeah,
right? Because then that's your your other skill bars rather
and
than
then
Shroud.
and then the role that you play is buffs and boons, right? Buffs, boons, and maybe healing by throwing potions all over the place.
It's just gonna be cool to see how they make it feel necro. You know, because you could like give anybody that kind of thing, and it would make sense. But I think like putting that necro spin on it is gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just touching on what you were saying there, Peach, because I think that it's almost an acknowledgement of the new kind of design philosophy that they're going with End of Dragons, that they almost didn't seem to want to just do another elite spec like they had before. They wanted to, like I say, make those fundamental changes to the classes, right? And it be rather than just go, oh, here you go, you've got some new skills, but it's a fundamental way that the class plays.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe they go back to kind of a sacrifice thing, like from Guild Wars 1, where you would like sacrifice your health to pull off skills and stuff. That'd be quite cool.
Oh.
Anyway, Mesmer time.
Mesmer time.
Mesmer time.
This got dagger songs. Floaty daggers. They said, we see you, Final Fantasy 14, and your sage and your floaty. No, that sage got floaty guns. Sorry. No, this was in development long before that. Mesmer got floaty daggers.
Floaty daggers.
I think it's super cool.
It looks cool.
It looks really good.
It's gonna be it's gotta be like a high burst class. It's gotta be super bursty. Like
I think so.
I can't see it being like like any kind of not sustained DPS, but I can't see it being a Condi build. I can't see it
No.
being a slow burner. I think it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be glass cannon, and
Yeah.
I think it's actually gonna play a little bit like Elementalist. That if
Ah.
you screw up, you die pretty much.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's what it looks
I can
like.
totally
Very
see
high
that.
skill ceiling on it.
Yeah, because like you know, you don't have your clones to throw anyone off. It it doesn't look like there was any sort of stealth application. Like it's just pure set up and then explode.
Yeah,
And
even the
yeah,
elite
make
skill,
any
like you set
mistakes and
it,
you're
they
dead.
literally said the elite skill, you set it and forget it. And it goes in one
Yeah.
direction, and if the enemy stays in it, it's insane damage, but then they can move out of it. So you got to be really strategic, and you got to be very, very much about placement. And there's the ground target skills and that like sword rain. So yeah, I think it's going to be one of those that's, it can be very powerful, but you have to play it right. You really got to pay attention.
Yeah.
Very, very different feel for Mesmer, but I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it looks great as well. Like the animations.
Oh man,
and
they went all out. They're like, let's make this flashy.
yeah. Excited for
I
that.
just can't imagine having all the daggers and your legendary trinkets and your legendary armor, and
Oh my god,
it's just classic
floating
Guild Wars
incinerators.
visual noise. Yes.
the flashiest
It's
flash.
gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really, really good.
Also, interestingly, Mesmer gets Aegis on heal. Like, it's the first class other than Guardian to have Aegis.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Another rule broken.
another rule shattered. They gave away Alacrity, but they're taking back Aegis.
Wow.
Yeah. But no, it doesn't already have Aegis, does it? Don't think so.
No, Aegis will only mess up Mesmer screenshots if you get it out of battle.
Yeah.
Guardian is the only one plagued with Aegis messing up all the screenshots.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can have Aegis, but you can't. Mesmers can't generate their own Aegis, right?
Yeah, Guardians just
So-
by default, like after 10 seconds, they get Aegis, even when you're running around outside of combat. So when you draw your weapon to take a cool screenshot, Aegis is just there, messing up your screenshot.
So you actually have to do, like I was saying, if you do some if you're going for like this burst route, then you also have to actively manage your heal skill as well. Because if you want to keep that Aegis up, you've got to manage your heal skill. New gameplay, rather than just using a heal skill when you're dying or to generate barrier or whatever. You've got to keep yourself alive.
Let's hope.
Oh, there is other stuff that can grant it?
Oh, maybe. Oh, I'm wrong.
Okay.
It's not surprising that I'm wrong, by the way, but you know.
I don't play Mesmer, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. What do you think the third one is going to be for the first beta?
It's gonna be Ellie, right? Because then we have
I don't
all the
know.
light
That would be all the
classes.
light.
Yeah,
I just think it's going to be whichever ones they need to do the most work on, they need the most feedback on.
could be that. That would make sense.
Which it could
actually,
be
yeah.
anything. I think I went back and looked. I think for Heart of Thorns, the first one was like, I want to say, wait, was Mesmer last? I think Guardian was one of the first ones actually. Or no, I'm thinking of Dragon Hunter. I have no idea. I don't remember. It could be any of them. It is interesting that
let's
they did
see.
2 light armor classes.
Bogotter did his Folly video.
Oh right, that
And
was
so Dragon Hunter was like second.
yeah.
I think.
It was Mesmer, Dragon Hunter. Yeah. I love that you're
Yeah,
like
I
remembering
think-
it because of Bog's Foley video.
yeah,
So great.
because of sound videos.
You guys
yeah.
haven't seen them, go watch them. They're amazing. Bad Foley.
I think it's got to be Ellie. Next.
I don't know.
I think if they were gonna mix and match it, they would have done one of each time. And they were obviously not doing that because there's Mez and Necro already.
Yeah.
So I think
What are you
it'd
guys all
probably be
maining
Elementalist.
nowadays?
Revenant.
Necro.
Revenant
Best
one.
class.
Both.
I still play Ranger I play Ranger in PvE and Necro in World vs. World.
Yeah. I've started using Necro for endgame stuff because it's broken.
It's the best class.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I've been telling you for years.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I run Alacra grade for like fractals and strikes and that kind of thing. Because people don't care about your DPS if you can press F4. It's nice. And everyone's like, you've given us alacrity, you can do whatever the hell you like. Yeah. What about you, Peachy?
Hammer Ellie. Sorry.
Oh no,
you
I've
such a-
never not been Guardian.
Never
I've
not been
always
Guardian.
mained Guardian.
Yeah.
Well, I should say Dragon Hunter now, because I need that
Yeah.
longbow. I need
Dragon
that
Hunter.
range.
Have
It's
you-
too good.
Have you dared to dip your toe in the world of Firebrand?
I played Firebrand briefly in raids. I really enjoyed
Oh.
it in raids. I did Condi, and I think I might have did healing just like for a minute, but yeah, I did Condi Firebrand in raiding back in the day. It was fun.
You should come to the world of quickness, Firebrand. It's incredible. Like,
Nice.
you're missing out. out.
Well, I don't raid anymore. If I did, then definitely.
Mhm.
But
I just wanted to put out my ridiculous Aegis errors. So Chaos Storm gives Aegis Mesmer, Signet of Inspiration, Well of Precognition, and there are also a couple of traits that allow phantasms to spawn Aegis or give it to you when you use particular skills. So I'm wrong.
Thank you for the correction. Yeah, what do you guys want for Elementalist? If Elementalist is next.
Short bow.
Bigger health pool.
That'd be boring.
I'll take a bigger
I don't
health
know.
pool for Guardian. A lot of people bow, torch, hammer.
Something weird.
See chat
Something
throwing
weird.
out something weird. Longbow would be amazing.
Longbows.
Shield.
Main hand shield.
I just want shield and everything. Shield would be cool. Shields are rad.
Main
Plus,
hand
I need
focus.
Flame Seeker,
Ooh.
so I just want to use it.
Dual
What would you do?
foci.
What would you do with a shield on an elementalist? Because bear in mind, you can already summon a shield.
Captain America stuff.
I think you just have to disregard like the summons. Because like
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just like that's a skill.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Hammer would be cool.
Hammer would be
sure.
crazy. Has there ever been
Unless
a ranged hammer in the game?
Revenant.
Yeah.
Oh, Revenant. Okay.
But
Yeah.
it's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if
but
the
it's
Ella had a
still
super
slow.
fast ranged hammer?
Yeah.
That'd be cool, man.
Revenant
That'd
Hammer's
be
just
cool.
broken in World v World as well at the moment. It's great. So much fun. But yeah, like it's kind of weird because people have been talking about all these various odd classes getting hammer, like like elementalist, like ranger, and honestly, I'm kind of struggling to see what they do with a hammer on elementalist because, like you've been saying, unless you completely switch up the way that hammer plays in the game, traditionally slow, very heavy hitting kind of weapon.
The
don't know,
breaking rules, right?
That's right.
What if they just focus purely on one attunement or something crazy?
Oh,
Maybe it's
my
all
God.
arcane.
Wow. That would be wild for Elementalist. Yeah.
Arcane hammer or
How are they gonna break? I mean, Weaver was already just crazy because you're combining two of the elements. So like go the opposite. Take it down
and
to,
just
to one,
go
or you could
hard.
trade
That
you
could
could
be-
trade for one.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Wow.
Do the
Yeah, that's
opposite
it. Maybe
of-
you pick which one. Nah, I don't know. That'd be.
Yeah.
They'd probably just pick one.
What-
And it'd
what would be the
probably
trade-off,
like something like
though?
arcane or something. Yeah.
For losing 4 elements, what would be the trade-off? You'd have to have something pretty
I think
awesome.
that
Very big.
if we're talking about hammer, right? For example, if we're going with hammer, the trade-off, I think, it would have to be survivability. Like one thing that the thing that Ellie sucks at is survivability and arguably utility as well. That so like you're saying, Corvus, if they go to focus on a single element, Earth for example,
Yeah, it was Earth
you-
attunement. You tank
like,
up.
a
You've got like
tank
rock
carry or something.
armor,
Yeah.
massive hammer. That'd
Yeah.
be cool as hell.
off
That'd
take
be
any
One
really
we're
cool.
calling
Yeah.
it now.
one element's actually pretty interesting. The trade-off would be that you don't have the utility of switching.
Yeah.
So if you're in earth or if you're in water, then you're just healing, right? You're really not doing any DPS. If you're in earth, that's all about protection and durability, right? If you're in fire, you're just doing damage, but then you have no survivability. So
Mhm.
could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hmm.
They're breaking rules. Maybe there's no attunements or something.
Mm.
I'm trying to think
The
of.
Dragon Jade attunement. That's it.
Oh.
Oh yeah, because it's gonna be themed, isn't it? Of course. I'm not even
Yeah.
thinking about Kantha theme.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. What? So they get a so you get like an F5 on Elementalist, you get your 5th element. That's a
The
lot
fifth.
of
They
work.
become Lilu. It's the Lilu
The
spec.
5th element.
I'm just thinking now. That's a lot of work to weave in an F5 in with
Yeah.
20 existing, well, arguably 30 existing skills at least, because
Yeah.
it affects some of your utility skills as well.
Ooh, prismatic. There you go. Prismatic attunement.
Mm.
That's where you use all of them rather than 2. The Weaver does 2, right?
And you just combine them
Combine them
together
all into light.
into
Prism.
light.
Prismatic
cool.
elementalist. Wow.
You're an arenist.
Maurine's true champion, elementalists. That's right.
Yeah.
Bow down. You Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, by your powers combined, I am prismatic element.
Oh, I can't
I mean-
wait. So that is August 17th for the first 3 new elite specs. Everybody,
So
I believe,
soon.
even free-to-play players are going to get access to this
Mhm.
beta.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I'm so
That's
excited.
so soon.
It's so
Yeah.
soon. I was shocked when they said in 3 weeks you're going to get to play 3 of the elite
Crazy.
specs. It's like, holy crap! Especially with it being pushed back, the launch being
Yeah,
pushed back to
yeah.
next year. I thought that they were going to kind of wait until closer to launch, but it makes sense to do it now, and then they have more time
Yeah.
to refine it.
Yeah.
And I like too that it's piecemeal. Like you get a little bit to play with and focus on,
Mhm.
and really, dive deep into only 3 at a time. And then the next beta there will be 3 more, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
There's 4 betas.
Yeah, it's a good way of doing
3,
it.
3, 3, and then all of them.
And then everyone. Yeah.
And I believe
Plus
the
the
siege turtle, yeah, as well for the last one. Oh
Which
my
we haven't
god.
spoken
The
about.
siege turtle?
Each turtle.
Oh man. Did
It's
not
just-
come as a surprise as far as the like siege turtle just is like obvious. Like yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense because those originated in Cantha and
Mhm.
like it just
I
what surprised me was the co-op, was that it's a co-op mount.
multiplayer,
Which I think is
yeah.
really, really good because it's okay, here's just another mount. Like, what can it do? Right? Because we've got so many mounts. We've got so many modes of movement. They all give you something different. They all are a different way to move around the world. So just giving us the siege turtle wouldn't have felt very different. But the fact that it's a co-op mount, that they're developing something brand new on top of giving us a new mount that can do new things, I think that was the perfect time to introduce that.
And have they said specifically that you can use it in World vs. World?
Yes,
They have.
they have.
Are you
They have?
sure?
Yep, they said it. It was. I think they even said it on the announcement stream.
Are
I
you
don't
sure?
think they did.
Pretty sure.
I mean, Alex has been wrong
they-
before.
I see a lot of.
You know,
I've seen a lot of
Go
people
back 10
on
minutes. And,
on Twitter and stuff saying
Oh,
that you can use it in World vs. World, but I haven't been able to find a quote.
Yeah.
heavily
Okay. They did
implied-
It
not
would be-
say so. They're
Like,
just
I think it was hinted
heavily.
at. But
They're
It would
heavily
be
hinting at it,
perfect,
but they have
though.
not specifically said it.
let me
It'd
dream.
be so perfect.
Okay,
It would.
it would. But yeah, it's kind of weird because I think, like a lot of people, I kind of assumed that they were done with mounts after Path of Fire. You know, because like how gliding was Heart of Thorns' thing, Path of Fire was the mounts thing, and I think people were getting sort of excited that maybe we'd see or they say, oh, Siege Turtle would make a great mount, and admittedly, I think it's a really cool idea, but I wasn't expecting it. I thought
that
they're
they were
gonna
just
have
done
their
with
own-
mounts. Dude, you can
Yeah,
sell
yeah.
mount skins in the gem store. They're always going to make new mounts so that they can
Yeah.
sell you the
Oh, yeah,
skins.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, they're selling other kinds of skins as well, aren't they? So it's
Boats,
boats.
skiffs.
Boat.
They're not boats. They're skiffs.
Skiffs,
They're
okay.
Skiffs, guys.
Skiffs is a kind of boat, man.
Skiff boats.
But-
Party boat.
Party
but yeah.
boats.
But just like the turtles, you can have
Turtles.
the turtles. Have co-op on them and stuff. And that's such a cool notion because, Peachy, you play a bit of 14, don't you? And they released that whale thing, didn't they?
There's a couple
The-
mounts in 14 that are co-op, but you don't do anything on them. Like you're just on
Yeah.
them. I mean, I think there's a 4-seater mount. There's a car,
Yeah.
the car from Final Fantasy 15, and 4 people can go in it, which is super cool. But that's all you do is ride in it.
You can just
So
ride
of
around.
course, Guild Wars 2, which has always
don't have-
innovated, and they've been innovating since their mounts were launched. They're way more active and fun and feel completely different than being on a mount in any other MMO that I've ever played. So of course,
Is the skiff a mount though?
Yes.
Like,
don't
course.
know.
They're not
is it
calling
gonna
it
be
that.
like, oh, you're in
Yeah.
the water, you press your mount key, and then it just appears,
Not-
or is it like you have to go to a specific?
Yeah, that I'm
'Cause
not
they said-
sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
They haven't
and also
specified it.
people, I think people can just jump on and off it. Well,
I
I
think
can
it's a
imagine the mount will be more like press F on it.
Mm.
If
Well,
you know
yes
what I
and
mean.
no, because there are. I think it looked like you could have 5 or 6 people on a skiff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you can all
Um,
just jump on and just be like, let's go.
Now you can probably just jump on like you're standing on it, but to actually sit on it, you'll probably have to engage.
Or like
with
fish off of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
And we know that you can like drop anchor in certain spots, so it's player driven.
Yeah.
What else would you call it? It's a mount.
Yeah.
Maybe you can only fish when it's anchored or something.
I think so.
Maybe.
They
Why would you
said
need to
you drop
anchor?
anchor to fish. Is kind of
Yeah,
how
there'd
they
be no other reason
said it.
to
Yeah.
drop anchor.
Yeah.
But
Huh.
I mean,
So maybe when you drop anchor, it becomes it's sort of more collision based,
yeah.
That could
right?
be.
So like it's a mount, and you press F, and you jump on the mount, and then as soon as someone drops anchor, it turns into sort of like a little island that then you can just run and
Yeah,
jump off.
platform.
I really
Yeah.
think that the only way that it's going to be a physical like platform for you is if you are invited onto it, which I'm guessing is if you're in a
Right.
party or a squad with the owner of the skiff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it just there already
so easy to
can be
agree.
griefing with
Yeah.
someone could just get on their skimmer and like stand on top of you. Right?
So what happens when the 4 of us are on a party boat and you guys are all fishing, and I decide I'm going to demount right now, right in the middle of your fishing, and you all fall
I
into the
don't-
water?
Yeah, or you raise
Oh.
anchor while we're fishing or something.
I think
Also,
that
if
you
it's
get-
just a
No fish for
platform-
you. Anchor up.
I am not going on your party boat anymore after that.
I mean, I think that the way that the generation of skiffs in the world, so like how you access the skiffs, I'm going to assume they're going to put some kind of like harbor or docking point in all the major bodies of water. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think you'll need it. I think you'll be able to skiff up
Yeah,
at the edge of
Well,
water.
I think it'll be
With
like
fishing,
like
they
mounts.
Because so I was running around some of the beginner maps. All of the beginner maps have a lot of water. Have a
Mhm.
lot of water areas to go in. So you'll be able to fish in all of those places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I imagine you'll be able to use your skiff in all those places.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
but
think so.
But in terms of what I mean, in terms of actually using the skiff, like just to be able to have you pull it out of your pocket anywhere you are,
Mhm.
that would
You pull a giant raptor out of your pocket wherever you are.
Yeah,
Johnny.
there's a little
Yeah.
animation that like transport like changes from just you to your player on the
Maybe,
mount.
maybe it's sort of like
I think it'll be
anytime
similar.
you're near water, you can just like call your boat or something. Like you whistle, it's like
flying
Wind
out of the
Waker or
distance,
something.
I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, I want docks to be able to use skiffs.
I think that would be cool because then you could go from the dock to the water. Because right now, if you get on your raptor you know, like you can't get on your raptor in the water, right?
Yeah.
If you're in the water, like it would be
Right.
silly to have to
Right, it
go
disables it.
literally start
Like, go
swimming
in the
to
water.
summon your boat, but you can't
Yeah,
summon
yeah.
it on land either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you've got to have like like docks, because you know if you wander around the
dock, yeah.
world, if you wander around the world, like most bodies of water have at least one sort of little pier type thing, don't they? Even
Uh-huh.
even
No.
like
No, they don't. See, that's the other
It'd be a
problem.
pain though.
I
I
think
think
you
it'd
just
be
have to be in the
annoying.
water, like
I think
Yeah.
even
you're
if
saying.
even if
Yeah.
every single body of water had a little dock, I think it would still be annoying.
Yeah, maybe you
To
just
have
have to
to
be
walk
near water
around it,
within a
go
certain
to a dock.
distance, like they pathed
Yeah.
around the water, and then like
I do see what you're saying, Alex, and I do think like if you're at a dock, maybe there's an option to skiff up next to the dock.
mhm.
I
Yeah,
reckon
yeah,
it would be like
But I also
anywhere where
think
you get.
right. I
Sorry.
also think if you walk into a lake, you'll be able to just skiff up.
I think
and-
so.
Mhm.
Yeah, it'd be like the skimmer. You can just get on it. I
Right.
also think that anywhere where there's like you get the prompt to fish, you'll probably also get the prompt to get on
Yeah.
your skiff
But-
or something.
Skiff racing.
Yeah,
There we
but
go.
here's the thing.
that'd be cool.
Yes, there's it goes
Wars.
fast. There's going to be skiff racing.
I want
But here's
I want to be able to sink each other.
he skiffs and world v world, man. It
If
could
you're on
happen.
your turtle
That'd
on
be
land and like
amazing.
someone's like you're shooting skiffs in the
Oh
water.
my you could strap your siege turtle into your boat and then just have like like an artillery cannon on the front. And then because it's multiplayer, because as they said, everyone gets involved using the siege turtle. You know, somebody can be driving the skiff, and you can have the other player just like sat on top and like.
Will
Battle skiffs.
will the siege turtles be able to swim?
I doubt it.
That'd be cool.
It would.
It would
I
be
don't know why
cool.
you'd ever use your skiff though. There'd be literally no
wouldn't.
reason to ever use your
Yeah.
The
skiff.
skiff goes fast. The turtle's slow.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's going to be new like if there's going to be like barriers and doors and like walls and things that you can destroy in the open world to utilize the turtle.
I
You
think
know?
so. Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, because you see, like, even going into Bureau Marches, you see doors that are locked behind, like, the roller beetle mastery, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
right.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's a great opportunity to do it, and you know, it
Really
even
cool.
if you have maybe a couple of events or a map meta that is significantly not easier, not like broken to the point that the United Way station is. But if there is something where that allows you having a siege turtle with the cannons fully masteried out, gives you a bit of an advantage.
Can
You
you
know.
imagine an entire map of people, everyone on their turtles just blasting the boss?
Well, there was a thing that you
That'd
could
be
do in
fun as hell.
there was a thing that you used to do in Guild Wars 1 in Grothmar War Downs in Eye of the North. There was a way that you could get a siege devourer to like wander around in, and you would jump backwards and forwards between the maps, and it kept the mount when you jump backwards and forwards. So what you'd do is you'd all go backwards and forwards generating this mount. So then you could like wander through all of like Eye of the North or
Oh my
whatever,
god.
all in like these massive siege devourers. And it was, but yeah, can you imagine that? It'd be cool. And
They're 100% going to make a siege devourer siege turtle skin,
a siege
right?
turtle
Oh,
skin,
yeah.
1000%.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. And this is kind of what I think is sort of like an underlying aim or approach to what they're doing with Ender Dragons. That we're talking about skiffs and we're talking about multiplayer mounts, right? For me, this is all indicative that they're trying to pull players back into the world, right? That you know, they're saying, hey, you've got these multiplayer vessels that everyone can kind of jump on, go fishing on, chill out, have a great time with. And you say, hey, pop your mate onto the back of a siege turtle. Because then I think I've said this in my stream a couple of times. As much as I love the Mistlock Sanctuary Pass, it absolutely killed the open world sort of community, sort of gather and hang out in a city. Right. I mean, Either North is sort of pulling it back a little bit, but if you guys remember back to Poser's Ledge in Old Lion's Arch, like that was like the place to be, you know? Like if you wanted to chill out and have a chat or whatever, you know, you'd drop on down to Poser's Ledge and see what kind of, you know, visual noise you could see that day, and you'd meet people, and like the the lounge keys sort of took that away from the world a bit. I mean, you still have like your focus points, like people still hang out at the top of in Divinity's Reach just before the palatial gardens, but having like an opportunity to say, hey, come on, jump on my skiff and we can go and sail around on a little boat, and or just have like like I guess we're going to talk about fishing in a bit as well, but they're saying there's 200 types of fish to catch or whatever, and just having lines of people on a beach or summit, just casually there with a fishing rods, being like, "You're right, mate. What's going on?" It just pulls the community back into the game, and the fact that it's all been retroactive in the world as well, just like gliding and mounts are. It just I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
It's gonna be cool
Use
with
my
the
skiff in the Mystic Forge.
in the Mystic Forge.
Can I fish? Can I fish in the Mystic Forge?
Oh my god! There's like 800 skiffs just in the Mystic Forge trying to catch the Zomo fish.
Yeah,
Zomo with
Zamora. Yeah, but it's
Zomo shrimp.
Zomo shrimp. But it's such a great way to pull people back into the open world. And I'm as guilty of it as the next person is. Like, I was like, oh, Mistlock Sanctuary is a cool place. I'm going to hang out there and bob around. And I've got my portals to places all in there. And, 5 years ago, I'd log out in Divinity's Reach or in Lion's Arch or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But now I log out in the Mistlock Sanctuary. But just imagine, like, hey, we're going to go fishing today, and you have like a map full of people all along a particular beach because they want a particular kind of fish.
For me, it's fishing in weird places. I want to find the weird, like someone was saying, like fishing in the raid instance. 100%.
Oh yeah.
I can guarantee you there will be fish in the raid instance.
Then they're gating content.
No, it's not really gated. It's not really gated. I mean, there's lots of ways for you to get into the raid instance. It's really not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
With 200 plus fish, there's gonna be like weird rare fish for you to find, and certainly like Old Whiskers and Ascalon, which they sort of pointed out.
Yeah.
But also seasonal fish.
Dungeon fish.
Get people back into that content.
Why not?
Doing that content. Fractals.
I want them to put fish in every weird little odd body of water.
Mad King
and
fish
make me seek it out. Like,
you gotta wait until Halloween. You gotta wait until Christmas. You gotta wait until this content comes back around.
Super Adventure Box
Labyrinthine
fish.
Cliffs. Oh my god, Super Adventure Box. Yeah.
I mean, it's crying out to happen, right? And what I'd love to see them do is sort of do some cross play with the mastery system. So you can't just so you level up your fishing, right? You can catch the super duper fish, but they're only found in particular bodies of water, right? So if particular bodies of water have like a difficulty rating or whatever, or you have to like upgrade your skiff to be able so that it can navigate
to the deep enough waters or something. Yeah.
So what would be like a really weird one is if like one of your high level masters would be like sail on like the frigid waters of the far Shiver Peaks, because all that stuff's like super deep and you have to like condition your hull to be able to go through it, or sail through the toxic waters of the Jade Sea or something.
That'd be cool.
But then you could go the other way. You fully upgrade your skiff, but you don't have the mastery to catch the fish, right? So it's
What's the point of fish?
Legendary cooking.
Oh,
what's everything's just gonna be a fish dish?
Yep.
That's we're gonna open a sushi shop. We're going to Kantha.
Legendary sushi, man.
Legendary sushi.
They said too that you would trade the fish for, like, there's fishing events, which I didn't understand at first, but apparently there's fishing
club.
There's something. Fishing events, and you'll trade these fish in for, I don't know, prizes or something.
Okay.
It'd be good. What if they made them so it could be like a currency or something? Maybe there's like guild hall decorations of the fish you catch.
Yeah, it could be used for a lot of rewards in game. There is let me find it. There's concept art. In a couple of the concept arts, there is a fish building. There's a building with a with a giant like goldfish.
What?
On top. We're showing it on stream.
Oh,
yeah,
It's
yeah.
in multiple concept arts.
Hang
So
on,
there's going to be a fish hub. I'm guessing that is the. I mean,
Fish hub.
and like how big and obnoxious is that? Like that is. Here's where you bring your fish to get rewards.
So maybe you can get an aquarium for your guild hall. Maybe you can trade it. Maybe there's
Decorations.
like a classic like fisherman hats,
Or
like
a pond.
skin you can get.
Oh yeah,
maybe there's
skins
like
for sure. Skins for your fishing
skiff
pole.
skins,
Skiff
fishing
skins
pole
for sure.
skins.
Well,
I think it would be really smart though if they were to turn fish into sort of junk items as well.
yeah.
So that
so-
like because
Right,
after you
yeah.
finish your collection, you got all the skins that you can get. Like there's 0 point of fishing, right? But if maybe rare fish are actually super valuable and can sell for like a good amount of gold, it means people like it'd be amazing to be like the top 10 ways to get gold in Guild Wars, and one
I'd
of the
love-
top 10 ways to get gold in Guild Wars is fishing.
It's
That'd be
fish.
really cool.
I'd love that. 250 years of developing Dragon Jade technology to extract the deepest, darkest magics out of the universe, and currency is just fish. They- Their banking system has collapsed, and now they just trade fish for a living. I'd love it. You love to see it. But yeah,
I want if there's 200, which is a lot for sure.
yeah.
Over 200, yeah.
I would want them. I would want there still to be a reason to do it after you've collected all of them.
Yeah,
and
for
and I think turning them into fairly valuable sort of junk items that you can just sell to vendors, not to other players, because that would destroy the point of collecting.
Yeah.
But just selling them to NPC vendors for like a good amount of gold means that people are always going to be wanting to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
a very casual, laid back, fun thing you can do with your friends to get gold.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
make
it'd be great.
make a skin, make like an outfit that you can get, or a mini rather. That would probably be more likely. That you can get, and make it like 1,000 fish, or 1,000 of one kind of fish. Something to some long term goal. I don't think the game has enough long term goals. That's why I want to see, I think in Path of Fire, the experience that you needed to earn to level up all of the masteries, I think you could do it too fast. In like a week, I had all of my masteries maxed, and I was like, now what do I do? Right? Like, make this a long-term thing that you do over time.
There 100% as well should be secrets. I want to hear a story of someone that fished up like an infusion.
Some
Like,
point
just
zero
like
zero
a
zero 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 1% chance.
Stupidly rare.
Fish,
But
like a scale
like
effect, like on an infusion.
or when you draw your weapon, fish like ghost fish swim around you or something. I don't know, anything. Just something super rare. Maybe the skiffs. Like, I mean, we've already, if you pre-order the game, you get the expansion, you get a skiff skin. So I was hoping that maybe different parts of the skiff would be upgradable, or you can get skins for different parts of it. Maybe you could fish up new looks for that or something. But I think I just fishing up little secrets would be cool. I mean, there's obviously going to be a boot. There's always a boot. Any game with fishing, you can fish up
junk items that you can just sell. I got seaweed.
Yeah,
I got a boot.
It's so weird that I never cared about fishing
mass.
in any game before, but suddenly I need it.
I was not expecting fishing. I was so shocked. It's something that always should have been in the game. And they said that they've always wanted to add it to the game. Like, they're like, we've forever wanted to add fishing to Guild Wars 2. I was not expecting it. I was so shocked.
I hope fish have a good use. That's my only worry, but I'm really, really excited for it.
Yeah.
Like, stupidly excited.
Because at the minute you can get like a salmon steak or something, and you can get salmon and tuna and maybe a couple of other bits, but it's literally just you sort of kill the neutral sort of animal, isn't it? And it would have been like because the cooking system is a bit more complex than the other crafting trees anyway. I think that maybe implementing it at launch would have given them a little bit too much. I mean, the mastery
would have been mad.
Yeah, I mean,
masteries
the
weren't
mastery
there.
system didn't exist there, so you would have just had a fishing pole, and it would have been like.
I'm glad it's not
Yeah.
it's taken till now because they have so many good systems that it can interact with.
Yeah.
100%. Another thing I thought of was maybe you accidentally fish up enemies, so you can. So it's
You
not
pull
become
you
like.
Oh,
pull
yeah.
So
something
it's not
onto your
like an
skiff.
AFK.
He's fishing up Naga
So
or
it's
something.
yeah. So it's not just
Yeah.
like a purely AFK like hold F kind of thing.
Random
Maybe like
encounters while
sometimes.
fishing.
Yeah,
Everyone's got to stop and kill the Naga on your skiff.
it'd be cool.
And we do also have 2 masteries that haven't been announced yet. As well.
Yes. Maybe, what could those be?
I wonder.
Think there's going to be
Well-
a second mount?
Dragon Jade magic. for
Dragon
sure.
Jade something.
Ooh.
100%.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That is-
yes.
that is vague though. Like
But what would it
that
do?
entail?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Allows you
It
to
could be
interact with.
anything.
With
Dragon
Could be
something
some
in
Jade.
the
door
world.
opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one people proposed to me was the Canthan language.
Oh.
You know how in Heart of Thorns they had like they had some different ones with the
It
languages.
was so
that was-
disappointing though.
Yeah, it was a
so
bit
much
Yeah, it was
potential
like
underdeveloped.
with the language
Nuak
line.
lore or something.
Yeah. But I could see like a general Canthan one that has lore as well as some other bits in there, maybe or something.
Mhm. Well, they had a whole blog post about creating the Canthan language.
Right. Yeah. Which was super detailed. So that's what makes me
Yeah.
think that maybe that could be involved somehow.
Yeah, that's a
Potentially,
great
yeah.
one. My thought was, and I'm sure it won't be this, but when I was originally thinking of, okay, what are they going to add to End of Dragons that's like gliding and like mounts? Because each of those introduced a huge difference in the way we get around Tyria, the mode of movement in Tyria. Gave us a new way to explore Tyria. So I was like, what are they going to do for End of Dragons?
Yeah.
And really the only other thing I can think of, which is now common in a couple other games, is climbing. Basically, you latch on Spider-Man style and very slowly and with a stamina bar, so it's limited, you climb up.
Bringing
ledges.
the energy bars back.
Right,
Ooh.
right.
Oh, dude.
Because
That would-
Breath of the Wild did that. You could literally like climb on
Mhm.
any surface, and now Genshin Impact does that too,
Mhm.
which is basically Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But it's a new form of movement that we don't really have. Like you can latch on to a surface with the sky scale to go higher. But if your player could do that and climb up anything, think of the possibilities. The new
Sure,
ways of
but then
exploration.
surely the sky scale just bypasses all of that, right?
It does, but there's little nooks and crannies that the sky scale can't really get into.
Maybe.
You know?
Little caves and stuff.
I'm just thinking that the reworking of all previous maps as well would be a colossal amount of work.
What I would like to see is basically
it's
that, but
interesting,
not as a new
like
system.
little crawl spaces in that.
Not as like a whole new system of like a mount or a mastery, but if they added that just for like a sort of parkour vibe, right? Like at the moment you just have to jump over like a wall and you do a big leap, like little extra animations where you vault over stuff.
That
or
would
if
be
you know,
cool.
if you're
Cool.
if you're nearly high enough to get up the ledge, maybe your character actually climbs up. Like all of like sort of quality of life stuff in terms of animation and things like that to make it feel a bit more natural. Because you know, at the moment you just do the kind of default jump over everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that would make it feel more like a single player game rather than an MMO,
yeah,
which is much more immersive.
and tons of them. Yeah, I think immersion for sure. Even things like, you know, how your character like sort of runs upstairs and things like that. Like there's a lot of little things they could tweak to make it feel a lot more immersive.
I've always wanted them to add out of nowhere new, like the voice lines that our player character says. I can run faster than a centaur, you know, like when they die, when they get rezzed, all of these lines we've been hearing for 9 years almost. So just like I want them to redo all of those one day. Just add a bunch of new ones that are filtered in.
Justice.
I would love to see stuff like, oh, when you eat, there's like a little animation, you know, like when you, I don't know, like just tiny things that will just make everything feel a lot more alive.
You want to get some more RPG in your MMORPG, don't you?
Exactly.
Yes, please.
And NPCs, I don't know, like I just yeah, make everything feel a bit more
Real.
Yeah,
alive. I
More
think Guild
emotes.
Wars has struggled with a sense of scale for a while as well.
mm,
Um, like going and playing other games for a little bit. Um, over the past year or something. Like there's been a lot of times where I've been like, look how massive this structure is,
Mm-hmm.
and
mm,
I don't know why, but I don't know if it's how far you can zoom the camera out, how easily it is to just kind of fly around everywhere. Um, but I don't know. There's just I think I want to see something in Guild Wars that is like huge
for
and
sure.
massive,
Yeah.
I
and I
agree
want to
with
walk
you.
down a
Mm-hmm.
street and feel like I'm walking down a street and the buildings are towering over me. While at the
Mm-hmm.
moment, it's kind of everything feels kind of
Yeah.
miniature.
I
No, I
totally agree. Blade and Soul is one of the best MMOs, the best MMO that I've ever played that has that sense of scale. I've literally walked in and I see a mountain in the background or a palace, and I literally just go, "Oh my god!" Like I
Yeah.
feel tiny
yeah.
in comparison to it, and I don't get that in Guild Wars. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they could implement something like that. But I think that whatever the last two masteries that we get, I think they're gonna be kind of safe, at
Yeah,
least within the sort of end of dragon sphere.
I think
And
so.
the main reason I think this is because we all know that like Guild Wars 2 it's had a rough couple of years at this point, right? And I think certainly now the game is more hyped than it's been since what 2015, 2016, right? Now what they don't want to do is they don't want to release an expansion full of things that they're just trying out,
Yeah.
so completely changing the way that he says completely changing the way you get around the world when we've got friggin' boats. So maybe this is a bit of a maybe it's a bit of a poorly thought out point. But what I think they need to do with End of Dragons, and I guess this is why people came away from the announcement going, oh, it was kind of okay, is that what they need to do which I think they've done so far, is they need to balance that wow factor with new features that they can effectively deliver. So something like fishing, like skiffs, because I assume that traveling on top of water, the technology is already partly there because of the skimmer.
Mhm.
They've implementing a fishing mini game with collections, that using the mastery system. But what they need to is they need to deliver a solid expansion. They need to create this concrete foundation that not only delivers on these big things that we're excited about, siege turtles and fishing and the elite specializations. However, they're going to not mess them up, but shake it up. Sorry, um, and deliver that with a rock solid expansion, something that makes people go, "Hang on a minute, Guild Wars 2 is a great game and we should be playing it," because the quality of the expansion is just there. It's like this is an
Mhm.
expansion you can get into. It delivers the Guild Wars 2 performance, right? It gives you the Guild Wars 2 experience for 2021. And they
Yeah.
deliver those features and they deliver an expansion like that. Then when it comes to Living World Season 6, when it comes to the next expansion, they right the ship and then they can start delivering stuff. And like you say, Peachy, then they can say, "Hey, we want to try some free climbing in the world." We could, they could expand on that there, and or maybe even in Living World Season 6, going back into the Echovold Forest and doing some free climbing amongst the stone trees or something like that, depending on how it goes. But I think it would be very dangerous of them to overpromise a whole host of super new, super risky experiences and risk splitting the player base. Um,
Yeah.
which is weird
I
because
think
that's
it is a balance, like you said, though, because I feel like Path of Fire was a bit like that, where it was a bit too safe in a lot of ways. I
yeah,
mean, Path
Path
of
of
Fire
Fire
was like
was
it
very
was
tame.
awesome. Like I really liked it, but like it it was very much like more of the same. I feel like it had that feel
Mm,
about it.
yeah,
And yeah, so and the seasons after kind of followed that same. So I think like it is a balance because I think there's a lot of hype right now, but they kind of I want them to capitalize on that. I want them to
yeah,
do something crazy and get everybody super hyped rather than just deliver kind of like good,
Here's more of the
but
same.
just not
You
amazing.
can't just give more
Yeah.
of the same in your MMO's 9th year when
Yeah.
you have
Well, yeah,
some
of course.
insane competition out there in the
Yeah.
MMO space. You have to deliver something new, something hype. That's why I'm really glad that they're going back to this marketing strategy of hyping us
Absolutely,
up,
yeah.
keeping the community hyped, doing giveaways. We see that you can there's Amazon Prime promotions. Hopefully Guild Wars 2 will get drops on Twitch, because all of that keeps players interested, keeps players logging into your game. You got the multiple beta weekends. We've got the alliance betas, and just rolling out information. That's what you need to do to keep your players
Absolutely.
engaged and hyped for your product.
Yeah, and Joe, I would be absolutely 100% agreeing with you both right there if we hadn't have had the second half of Icebrood Saga. If Icebrood Saga had finished strongly, and we'd got the whole whatever they planned in the background before they had to cut it short, and they delivered on that, then then yeah, I'd be absolutely agreeing. It's like, yeah, they need to push the skiff out, if you'll excuse the expression, and really go and take those chances. But I think just playing it a little bit safe this time. Play it a little bit safe this time. I think
it's a confidence question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying. I mean, obviously, I would love loads and loads of crazy and exciting and just mad stuff to happen in Guild Wars 2. So,
Yeah, you just don't want it to fall flat.
Yeah.
Right.
Expressionist.
Because that's what they did for the Icebrood Saga, is they hyped it up, right? They had the in-person event and all this. And then
it's like a season, but it's like an expansion.
Yeah, it's like an expansion, and then it wasn't. And
no, it really wasn't.
So Cantha needs to deliver. This was the perfect time to bring back Cantha, this thing that everybody's been hyped for since the launch of the game and asking for.
Absolutely.
So
factions. Are factions gonna be a thing? Do you think?
I don't think Kurzik and Luxon exist anymore in the lore.
But like, do you think there'll be some?
There'll be some kind of. I think they've been experimenting with the having like the two sides of the map, like the factions on a single map. They did that in Icebrood Saga. So I think we're gonna see more of that. It would make sense for Cantha.
Yeah.
To have
There'll probably be some lore or something that says what happened to the factions.
For sure. There has to be. I mean, you could rep Kurzik or Luxon in Guild Wars 1, and even if those aren't a thing anymore, there's got to be some reference to it. Maybe if we get like a lore, a Canthan language mastery, maybe we can unlock the secrets and the history of what happened to the Kurzik and Luxon.
Team Kurzik.
We can revive the Kurzik and Luxon. Maybe you can become the new leader of House Zuhelzer.
Yes. Love it.
But as far as like upgrading the game, making it better, DX11. Finally. I cannot tell you how hyped I was when I read that in the blog post. It's like, oh my god, finally. They're going to have a beta for it. I don't know if it's going to be like a separate client you're going to have to download or how exactly they're going to do it, but it's going to be an opt-in beta. I think they said this year. It sounded like, I forget exactly, I think something they said in the live stream, it sounded like DX11 wasn't going to be implemented like for everyone in the base client by End of Dragon's launch, but
it's
really
an opt-in system.
The beta is opt-in. I don't know if they're going to keep the whole thing opt-in. I'm not sure. But there's going to be a beta.
64-bit thing. It'll probably be like
right.
That, right?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how much it affects the game. It really will. So
I hope it affects it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
It's got to be worth it.
Yeah. So it's worth referencing. So DX9 was the first version of DirectX that brought in anti-aliasing. So this is how far back DX9 goes.
Ancient.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ancient.
Like 2002 maybe.
Damn.
And because of the way that Guild Wars 2 is built, but as we all know, built on the Guild Wars 1 engine, and it was built when multi-threading wasn't really a thing. And one of the other symptoms is that, as I'm sure we all know, looking at some of our temperatures that we get when we play Guild Wars 2, is that the majority of the processing for Guild Wars 2, including the graphics, also goes onto your CPU. So the idea is, implementing DX11 offloads some of that, offloads some of that work to your graphics card more effectively, and hopefully it should result in better performance. But they did say on the live stream that they're not guaranteeing that the game will run 1,000,000 times better for you. So case by case basis.
There's a lot of factors that go into that. They can't guarantee
they have to say
anything.
that,
Yeah. That's just a safety where we can't guarantee that it's gonna,
Yeah.
So,
but
either way, it's a good thing.
But if we get DX11, which means more shiny particle effects on your graphics card,
Oh my god,
for those new legendary weapons.
Oh my god.
Damn, Alex, you're gonna get promoted at this one.
Oh man.
Oh man. So the legendary weapons, I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this.
Disappointed.
Because there's been much heated debate in the community about the new legendaries.
Disappointed, but not like devastated. I like the look, but I'm glad, and I'm glad. In fact, no, I'm not glad that they're all going to be there on launch day. I kind of liked the new one every episode kind of thing. I think it was a cool way to get. It was another reason to be excited, another reason to kind of be like, oh, I'm gonna check in, see what this update's gonna be. I get why people want them all in one go, fine. But I would take them not being there in one go on day one if it meant that each one had a more unique design. And what's cool as well is that they add the armory, and now there's this like extra bit of lore. But there's no need for extra lore now for each of these new ones because they're all
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
So like I think they look okay, but just a bit disappointed that they're all the same. It feels a little bit, and people have said this 1,000 times probably, but it feels a little bit like a Gem Store series made legendary.
A little bit,
not because just because they're all the same.
Yeah.
So there's sort of two sides to this.
I guess it's priority.
WP did a
whether
video.
You prioritize
did a video on this as well, where
the legendary.
WP did a video on this recently where it's possible, this isn't confirmed, but the wording on the website seems to indicate that there might be more than one legendary set. So if you we start with the Arena legendary set, but there might be further legendary sets going forward if they continue to adopt the system of what I call Black Lion Ticket Plus. Because they really are Black Lion ticket weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And that, there's nothing wrong with that. Black Lion ticket weapons look great. There's so many amazing sets that falls into. But the problem I have is that you're talking about a legendary item, weapon, armor, whatever you want to call it. And we've seen in the Gem Store near, if not legendary quality type skins.
No, we've seen that in Black Lion chests. Yeah. Those are legendary weapons that they're putting out in those.
So we know that they can do it. We know that they can do the work. And one of the things about legendary weapons that you may love, you may not love, is that they're all unique. They're all different. They all have a different theme. They're not necessarily all connected from the same thing. And so I think that cheapens the experience a little bit. And on top of that, I really think that the Astrolaria and the Chuka and Chumpawat and those early Gen 2 legendaries were the best quest-like legendaries that they had ever done. Because legendary weapons right now and in Gen 1 are just gigantic gold sinks. Mm-hmm. And there's a sense of accomplishment when you create one, when you have one. The legendary armory really enhances that feeling as well. But that quest for Chuka and Chumpawat and the quest for Astrolaria, those things that you have to do really added another dimension to legendary weapons. And I know it takes them longer. I know it's not easy. I know it's a lot of resources, but it's a legendary item. Should you be cutting corners on the creation of a legendary item? And I think the answer is no, you shouldn't be.
This is
So
something I
that's
thought
my
about
disappointment with it,
Hmm.
is that it feels like you're cutting corners in a place you shouldn't be cutting corners.
Why I was thinking about it was that maybe, there's the whole like living world thing going on now, and you can get yourself a precursor that way. That maybe I feel like something tells me that this set is going to be way more accessible. I feel like these ones are going to be easy to get or easier to
And
get,
I
and
would
it might
caution
just be a
people.
way to kind of fast track people into having legendary gear.
A lot of people are saying that for some reason, because these are a themed set and because people like myself are calling them a Black Lion set, people think these weapons are going to be cheaper to make. I would caution you, I don't
There's
think
absolutely
so.
no evidence.
I don't
No,
think they're going to be
just
cheaper to
it's like
make.
I said, it's just a
So
hunch I have.
be careful with that, because and then people are like, well, if they're not cheaper to make, why would I make them? Well, because it's a legendary item. Some people will love the Arene themed skins.
Yeah.
Well, some people will love that.
I mean,
but
how would you guys feel if this 3rd generation set was on the same theme as the Hope pistol? Like, because that is an exquisite legendary weapon, right? It's beautiful.
That's cool.
But could you deal with 16 weapons all on the same theme?
No. Nevermore is incredible. Frostfang. If it was a whole set of Frostfangs, I would still be disappointed.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
For me-
feel
not
like
just-
it departs from what legendary weapons have always been. They've
Which
always
is
been
a
unique.
legendary item, one weapon that is
Yeah.
legendary. All
Yeah.
of these just also means that you're going to see 1,000. Like at the moment, I already see a ton of Nevermores or Bifrosts, and that's only people using staff. Now there's the potential to see that same weapon essentially on every character, every class, because it's every weapon.
Yeah.
And I think like that, just in terms of it being boring to look at, I think is going to be a bit like,
I think
maybe you can only get one. That's
Just
the
you
kind
have
of in
to
the back
choose
of my
one of
head, right?
16.
You can only choose one weapon to have from that set, and that way maybe
you can only
so.
use one
Yeah.
at a time.
Yeah,
So
I think there's an argument to be made about function over form, and the reason I think that is if you're doing your Seasons of the Dragon, as Ink said, you get your precursor token, but if you do all of it, you get a free legendary amulet, right? So, based on what we've seen from seasons 2 and 3, you're gonna get a legendary amulet for doing maybe another 20 hours of work after work games. You gotta put in another 20 hours of gaming to get your legendary amulet, right? If the current sort of release cycle / inputted time sort of correlates. Now, what that's doing is that's opening up legendary items to a huge section of the player base that never thought that they'd either want to earn one or that they wanted to get into the creation of legendary weapons. You suddenly get an amulet and you go, hang on a minute, I can right click on this and I can choose any stat set that I want from this. That's amazing. And they say, hey, we've also got a free precursor. Because, a precursor is like, what, 800 or 900 gold at least? Depending on, like, looking at Gen 2. Like, precursors aren't cheap to make, right?
Yeah.
So, you've got your gateway drug there with a free precursor ticket. And then, admittedly, you then have to go and spend 1,000 gold and all the rest of it making a Mystic Tribute. But the fact is that it's like you're halfway there already. If you do Seasons of the Dragon, you've got a legendary item and you're halfway there for your next one. And I think that it's an idea about getting people engaged in legendaries and having that new set out there at release to entice people to make these new legendary weapons. I completely agree with all the criticisms about the.
I mean, it's definitely a boon
about the appearance.
Yeah,
I think you're absolutely right about the appearance.
Yeah. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I don't dislike the set. I think the set looks great. I think the idea of the precursors being baby Arene themed and the legendaries being adult Arene themed. I think like all of that is a great idea, and I think those are great concepts. And it's not even like Corvus said, I'm not devastated by this news about Gen 3 legendary weapons. It's just I have I have a particular way that I view legendary weapons, even from Gen 1, about how they can be sold and so forth. And I just think that legendary should be a particular way, and this is a different way.
Going back to what
if you can, sorry.
What was that?
No, I was just gonna say, maybe, I don't know, it's Arene themed, she's prismatic, maybe the way that they kind of let you differentiate them is maybe these are be dyeable or something.
That was my thought, is that would, I think, ease a lot of people as if they were the first dyeable weapons.
Yeah.
Would definitely be a bonus, a plus.
Dye channels, that would turn the tide, I think. That would get a lot of goodwill from the community.
They've already added it to back pieces. They've added dyeing to back pieces, whereas before they were like, oh no, back pieces can't be dyed. So
dyeable particle effects, and without angering Brazil. You love to see it.
Be cool.
But what Ink said about the best of the best legendaries are the ones with the journey, the story behind Chupa and Chunkawat. I don't even know how to say that. Yeah, but like, going on those quests for your legendary, right? I kind of see the being able to get a precursor before we even go by doing the Seasons of the Dragons achievement. You're replaying seasons 2 and 3, which is basically is Aurene, is the egg and raising Aurene, right?
Yeah.
And that is the story. That is the journey that we've been on and that we're going on again to get the Aurene legendary. So I know it's not in the same way, but in a way that is giving us a story, giving us a journey to go on to get this legendary Aurene set, because you're going to go on that journey. You're going to get the baby one, the one that represents baby Aurene, and then you go forward and get the crystal Aurene one.
And they said that these achievements, they're not going away. So do you think maybe this will be the only way to get those precursors or something? Go on that journey?
No, I don't think so. I think this is just one way to get one precursor.
It's to entice people in, isn't it? To say, hey, you've got one.
Well, it's not only, like you said, it's not only a good enticement, it's a good journey, like Peachy was saying. And it's also good interim content while we wait for the expansion. ArenaNet needs a little win, a little feather in their cap. And there's nothing wrong with any of this content that they're and repopping, and they're giving it to you for free where you'd have to pay 200 gems otherwise, and it's nothing but pluses all around. It's nothing but bonuses all around.
I was also at first and still a tiny bit disappointed by the fact that they're all the same, because I was looking forward to the reveal of each one and what each one was going to be. I was happy that they're all going to be available at once. I didn't. The slow reveal of one per episode was it was cool. It's just like, oh, what's going to be the legendary for this episode? Like, I enjoyed that anticipation. But with Gen 1 launching at the start of the game, and they were all available, and there was one of each, and you pick your favorite. And I'm kind of with Inks is that's what I think of when I think of what legendaries are, is you get them all at once. And so getting them all at once, when they said, it's going to launch with the Gen 3 legendaries, that was what I imagined was, it's going to be like the launch of the game, and there's going to be, 16 skins. They're all going to be unique. They're all going to be different. And so that when we didn't get that, they're all the same. I was a little disappointed. But Bird of Chess on Lightbringer's podcast made a phenomenal point. She really sold me on this Aurene set and them all being the same. And I'm going to say it nowhere near as elegantly as she did. But basically, she said that all of the other legendaries up to this point have represented somebody else's legend, somebody else's story, somebody else's journey. This set the culmination, End of Dragons, the culmination of this saga. This set represents our story. So it's in a way, it's our legendary set of Orion weapons. So these are our weapons. This is our legacy. So it should be an entire set, one of every, because everybody uses every weapon in the game. And
you know, it would be great, going off of that point, which is a fantastic point. What if instead of throwing things into the Mystic Forge, because that's the ultimate way you make a legendary weapon, what if you had to take it to Arene? It's just a different method of forging it, but you take the finished components to Arene and she forges it into
that'd be cool.
the finished
Yes.
weapon.
Yes.
That would be a nice little touch.
I like that.
I really like that.
That's actually a really, really good view of it.
Yeah.
So just out of interest, what are we reading into this single letter that deviates set from sets of legendary weapons? I said when I did my live stream with Ashen, like I sort of jokingly said that, hey, you know what, because of the fact it was a set, and I jokingly said, hey, look at us, we're already talking about Generation 4, you know, what are we doing here? I mean,
so that's my fear.
Yeah.
My fear is that they'll, and again, some people out there will say, no, this is a good thing, it shouldn't be a fear. But my fear is that they'll get comfortable with this new way of creating legendary weapons via themed sets. And it'll be much easier for them to make a Gen 4 and Gen 5 and Gen 6. But then the problem with that becomes the same that we had with Living Story seasons, and that they become cookie cutter. And I don't think for legendary items they should become cookie cutter.
Yeah,
I guess I don't
that's my
want
fear.
to.
That's my fear.
Yeah, it's another concern about the whole themed set thing is that up until this point, you've been able to see a weapon and know exactly the name of it. You know, it's legendary in that you know all of them just because they're so sort of iconic. I think having maybe with this set, maybe one set where it's themed is still fine, like for that. But if we get like 2, 3 sort of themed sets, I'm not gonna know what the dagger's called. You know, like I'm not gonna know what the short bow is. It's just gonna be the Oreen short bow or something like in my head. So I think that being said, I don't necessarily mind more themed sets as long as the kind of lore is fine. You know, if something happens and I don't know, Arene goes evil and there's a theme of evil Arene sets or like cool whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they should be recognizable.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, when you see the Dreamer, there's nothing in the game like the Dreamer. You know,
Exactly.
When you see Nevermore, like it's very iconic. That's it. And this is going to be like, oh, there's the Oreen Greatsword. There's the Oreen Staff. There's the Oreen that, which feels like a Black Lion weapon set.
Yeah,
exactly.
They also have to tread a very, very fine line. And as you know, we've already talked about Black Lion sets, but if they continue to do sets, it would also potentially mean they have to completely rethink the way that they do their Black Lion sets, because as as everyone's been saying, it's very, very easy to draw that comparison between the two because the Black Lion sets look so good, right? They've got some amazing artists working on these weapon sets, and I think that a lot of people, and I think people are absolutely right to be focused on the form rather than the function, because that's why we get a legendary weapon, right? No one really cares about the fact that you can stat switch. That's not why you make a legendary weapon, is it? Like, no one goes, ooh, well, sometimes...
I mean, that's pretty important, but...
Starts making a legendary, no one goes, oh, sometimes I want to be a berserker, but sometimes I want to have a Visor stats. Come on, man, no one does that.
Nah, it's the skins, 100%. The skin
especially
is
not in that accent.
Well, if you're going to make a legendary weapon for it being legendary and for all the convenience, you're not just going to willy-nilly make whatever, I'll make this one, I guess. No, you look at the skins and see which skin you like better. Yeah.
It's like, I made Chuka and Chumpwot because I don't want to piss unicorns everywhere, So, but the thing, but they also have to knock off the crap with this. I've just sworn twice there. I apologize.
Fired.
That
Depromoted. That promotion you got earlier for the segue.
Yeah.
God.
But you've got to. But they have to knock off the stuff that they're doing with the chest exclusives as well, like the arcane battle
They're not
staff.
going to.
Those
look like legendary weapons, and I think that's the issue. I think another thing is that the Aurene set, the Gen 3 set, doesn't, in my opinion, they're beautiful, don't get me wrong, they're gorgeous. They don't look legendary and unique enough. I know they wanted to make them represent Aurene, but like, I don't know, put dragon wings on them or something. They're really not that unique. They don't look that different from a Black Line weapon set, and they definitely aren't more spectacular than a lot of the stuff that's coming out in the Black Lion chests. Those are legendary level weapons, and those are unique.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where they've put their legendary weapon energy. Sure, they might not have footfalls, they might not have the sparkly arm and some of the sparkly effects, but some of them do have like really like trails and stuff, and the skins are out of this world. Yeah. And do you want loot boxes and gambling to be where the best skins in the game? Legendaries aren't even that cool anymore. That's the problem.
I can see
100%.
a lot of people disagreeing with me in chat about the fact that they went for legendaries because of the stat swap function. But think back to the very first time you saw a legendary, right? That is the moment that I'm talking about. Not I've got 6 already, what am I going to make next? I'm talking about the first time you saw Eternity, the first time you saw the Shining Blade, the first time you saw Hope, that wow factor. You didn't think, oh, I wonder what that does in the background. You were just like,
I didn't even like axes, but I had to make Frostfang for my Necro.
Cool, right?
I did Axe Necro,
and it's that wow factor, right? It's that wow factor at first looking that's my point. And for the first 2 years, right? Like you couldn't, if you transmuted, before stat swapping was a thing, right? If you transmuted a legendary weapon, there was a bug that could stop it being a legendary weapon, right? And it was, and I can't even remember when choosable stats came in for them. Never mind the wardrobe. That's kind of my point. I'm not saying that people don't get them for the utility.
No, of course they do. Yeah.
And I certainly think that people getting legendary armor, I guess, perhaps was more for the utility, and certainly the trinkets. But I guess because we're talking about weapons here, this is my focus.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I think myself out of the hole here.
Yeah. That being said, I think in Gen 1 there probably was a lot of people who did do it for that because maybe they didn't like the skin, but they wanted that utility, and there was only one option per weapon type.
Yeah, but that would have still had to have been post wardrobe.
Yeah.
I just get them so I can say I have a legendary, and the skin, and the skin.
Footfalls are a big one.
Footfalls.
Yeah, I like the footfalls.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Aurene, there's a beautiful statue coming out. There's no physical edition. There's no collector's edition. And I wasn't expecting there to be, because they didn't do it for Path of Fire. They did a physical release for Heart of Thorns. You could go and buy the box. But they didn't do a collector's edition. The launch of the game is the only one that's had a collector's edition. But they still made a beautiful Aurene statue. What do you guys think of this? Do you think they're just shilling? What do you think?
You've already pre-ordered it, right? Peachy, your shelf needs this, right?
Oh, yeah. Done. Day 1, pre-order.
I'm glad they're doing something.
Yeah. The problem is that it's $70 shipping over to EU.
Oof, really?
Yeah, really?
Ow.
Yes.
Really expensive
Damn.
to get it sent over.
That's like that's half the price. That's more than half the price of the thing, which is already expensive.
Yeah, and I think
they'll just get Peachy to do like a cast of it for me or something.
Just
dip yours in wax and send it over or something.
Yeah, and the fact that it's plastic I mean, I'm not entirely sure what else I would expect it to be made
Wait,
of.
is it? I thought
Yeah, it's
glass or
PVC.
something.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
plastic.
it's PVC.
I think
Unfortunately.
it
I would have
doesn't.
expected glass.
I
Yeah.
think it doesn't hold a candle to Ritlock, and that's sort
Mm.
of my standard of expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for the price point, forget the shipping to EU. I mean,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
but
God.
yeah, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love collector's editions. I love physical collector's editions.
Yeah.
I don't have an original Ritlock statue. I wish I did. I do have the Chinese Ritlock statue,
Oh,
which,
see, I don't have that
which
one.
is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. It looks a little. I'll be interested to see when Peachy gets hers.
I thought
What
it
it
was
looks
glass
like,
and it was.
and yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah, I definitely
seen
expected
Ruby,
it to be like a crystal or glass.
and it's heavy. It's not light. It's a pretty heavy object. But I seen Ruby holding it on the stream, and I just thought it kind of looks a little cheap, but it's not cheap. It's
No, it's not.
expensive.
No,
It's
I
expensive,
feel
yeah.
like if I was expecting glass or like that kind of crystal thing, and knowing that it's plastic, I feel like I would have rather they did like a painted, kind of
Yeah, like
colored, proper,
I've got
like
my
the
Ritlock
Ritlock
anyway.
one.
Mm.
Like I feel like that would have been better if they were doing PVC.
Yeah. I definitely think it's overpriced. I mean, I buy a lot of stuff, obviously, and it
Yeah.
is overpriced. Absolutely.
Here's the thing. Peachy probably knows better than the rest of us because I know that you
Yeah.
have a huge collection of statues, miniatures, and so forth. But Warhammer 40K, Bandai makes I think they're 8 or 9 inches tall, fully articulated, posable Marines for $100 USD.
Mhm.
And yeah, they're made out of plastic, but it's a solid plastic
Yeah,
and so forth.
yeah.
And when I compare something like that to Arene, it just, I don't know. It's hard for me to swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this
There
is
he is.
this is my Ritlock.
It's
Where's
so good.
Sahafen?
Fiddler knocked him off the shelf about 3 years ago, and I've spent a lot of money on various glues trying to fix him.
Oh
No.
no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's still here. He's a bit wobbly on there, and there's a few pointy bits missing. But yeah, like Ritlock is
It's
just
so cool, man.
So
he's rock
cool.
solid, man. He's so cool. But yeah, only available with the original collector's edition, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Still the
Yeah.
only way to get that.
Which I highly regret that I never bought. I really should have bought that
Mm.
collector's edition.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, you also get with this statue an in-game item. If you buy
Okay.
the Orine statue, you get a cape. It's called the Orine logo cape. Not sure what that means. And they don't have a picture of it. But
think
you
that's
do
like
get a
it'd be like
code for a cape.
Like the T-shirt.
Like the T-shirt
Skin.
on a cape, do you think?
Could be.
But what's the
Yeah,
it
Orine
might be.
logo?
You know what? Well, Peachy, you know how you're doing those community chest giveaways
Mm-hmm.
at some point? Yeah, if you win one of
He's
those,
doing a
see?
segue
See?
voice. He's doing a segue voice again.
Are you promoting me right now? I'm down.
I am promoting you, yeah. Well, you can get the Orine T-shirt in one of those, and it's not available anywhere else. It's
That's
only been
true.
available,
Only
like,
place. Here, I am going
twice
to
before, I think.
link it. This is the last day. I'm going to pull the winner tomorrow before stream. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'm going to pull the winner.
Yeah,
So make
But the
sure
blue
you
ones-
go
That's
enter.
gonna be
Blue
what the
orange
cape
shirt.
looks like.
yeah. I reckon they'll put that blue design on a cape, and I think that'll look kind
Oh, that would be cool.
of cool. Yeah,
It's just the in-game swag. It's like the Funkos, right? You got the little minis that say, I bought the $10 Funkos. Well, now you'll have a cape that says, I bought the $120 Orient statue.
Which, by the way, for as much as people like to make fun of and joke about the Funkos, I'm surprised that they didn't do another wave of Funko Pop.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Do you think
Yeah.
it's because we were very mean about it at the time of the Iceberg Goodford announcement?
No, I think that there's a lot of moving parts in a partnership like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
true.
think so.
For sure. I hope they do more. I'm not even a Funko fan, and I hope they do more just because it's more
Same.
Guild Wars
Yeah,
2
I'm
merch.
really not a big Funko person, but I bought them and I would buy them again.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like more figures just in general.
Oh my god, right? Statues, figures, that's
Yeah.
that's my bread and butter. But
Do you remember when? Oh god, this would have been Heart of Thorns time. Do you remember when they did like a whole bunch of statues, didn't they? They did like the Chinese Ritlock one that you've got, Inks,
Yeah.
and they
they
did
did
like
Timey,
like
or I'm
they
sorry,
did
Zoja.
and they did a Shatterer, and that
Oh.
and they did like they did
Shatterer.
Golem USB dock as well. And I
Yeah, that
Right.
was
really
the
wanted that.
the
forgot about that.
Zoja. Yeah.
Was
I
it?
don't have
Yeah.
any of those. I need to track those down. Yeah. So they had a
Yeah.
little and the Ritlock that you have, Inks, that's like an action figure. It's like posable and stuff.
It's not posable,
Mm.
but he has his armor comes off. You can switch his hands up. He has different parts.
It's like
you can switch in and
accessories.
out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Interchangeable.
interchangeable
Parts.
hands, interchangeable head, maybe.
Cool.
Yeah, I know his
Yeah.
hands are interchangeable.
Yes. More merch.
Yeah.
More merch.
Man, if they did like a line of statues for each of the Elder Dragons or something.
Oh, that'd be
I'd
sweet.
be all over a Kralkatoric statue
Oh,
Dude,
that'd
I'd
be
buy
so
the Zaitan.
sweet.
Can you imagine the Zaitan one? It'd be so
with all like the little heads poking
yeah,
everywhere.
dude.
Yes. Yeah, at the end of the day,
You
it's
can press
you know,
one on it in real life.
completely optional items, completely optional merch swag, and it supports the game, and it's something cool
Yeah,
for
sure, yeah.
for collectors. So I'm glad that they did that. Like I said,
For sure.
that to me, that's my collector's edition. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
so
Mm.
And it'll look like glass on a shelf anyway. Who cares?
yeah,
Yeah, it looks great. Don't get me wrong. I think it looks really cool.
yeah.
Mm.
So there is no official collector's edition, but there is standard, deluxe, and ultimate. There we
Yeah, you
go.
got tasty pre-order bonuses, don't you?
Yeah. Get the
So what do we get in the standard edition, Miss Peachy?
standard edition will get you the game, of course. It comes with a shared inventory slot with a max level 80 boost in there.
There we are.
But then you also get, for pre-ordering, you get the Flame Serpent weapon, your choice of a Flame Serpent weapon. I'll show you that here in a second. You will get a Xingje Mosaic Cape and the Prodigy of Xingje title.
Ooh. Everyone in chat say ooh.
Ooh. Hold on one moment here. Let me show you guys. See, I'm sure you have all seen these, but just in case you haven't. There we go. There is the cape, little fishies on it. Xingje cape. You will get oh no, wait, that's not the raptor. What else did I say besides the cape?
The
weapons.
The
the weapons,
serpent.
which are also in this image. Kind of. There's the back of those weapons. So there's a full set, and you'll get to choose which one you want.
I chose the pistol
Nice.
because it looks cool.
I haven't chose mine yet. I don't know.
No.
I'm gonna wait and see what the Guardian's new weapon is. I'm gonna wait and see what they get. In the deluxe edition, you get all of that. Plus, you get what do you get?
Skiff skin.
The skiff skin, and the
a
raptor skin. Yes, here we go. You get this beautiful skiff skin right there, and you know you're going to be able to buy more skiff skins in the gem store.
Oh yeah.
Which is why you got to pick up that ultimate edition, which gives you half off gems. Gives you $50 worth of gems for $25. So you're going to get this skiff skin with the deluxe or the ultimate. And where is it? The raptor skin. Where's the raptor skin?
The raptor skin looks.
The raptor
really
skin
nice.
is so cool, and you get those now. So you get your cape, your weapon choice, and the raptor skin right now.
You get the skiff skin though. You just can't use it.
Right.
It's just in your inventory.
Right.
Yeah.
That raptor is so cool. Fully dyeable.
Apart from, but the antlers aren't a separate dye channel. It really.
Oh
annoys me.
really?
Yeah. But it's really cool.
Super
But yeah,
cool.
I was annoyed about the antlers.
Yeah. So you get all of those our I think the pre-order, if I'm not mistaken, the cape and the weapon choice are your pre-order bonuses.
Yeah.
Everything else is
Pre-order
guaranteed
only.
even after launch, with just the purchase of that
Yeah.
specific edition. And when you do, if you have not yet, all ArenaNet partners have referral links. So please go through your favorite ArenaNet partners' referral link,
and
it will support their content.
It will. But
Super
use Peaches.
groovy. No,
I think you're over there now, aren't you?
other side.
It's Peaches.
There you go. No,
There we go.
Use your favorites. Don't use whoever you want. Feel free to drop your links in chat. I will also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I will have everybody's links in the description. So feel free to scroll down and find one of these guys, whichever one you want to support.
And yeah, I'll ping my link in a bit. It's somewhere. I know. It's
Okay, go dig it out, right?
Yeah. Blow the dust off it.
So is there anything else that anybody wanted to discuss? I think we covered just about everything.
Yeah,
in the live stream.
Strikes, real quick.
Oh, strike missions. Totally forgot.
Oh, yeah.
So my biggest complaint with Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire has always been that there was no end-game repeatable content like dungeons or fractals on day one. And with End of Dragons, we finally are going to have something day one. We're going to have the strike missions on day one.
With challenge modes.
Challenge modes will come like a week or two after launch, I think they said. Something like that. So kind of like the way that raids were staggered, the challenge modes will be staggered, which is very smart on ArenaNet's part. But on day one, you will have strike missions to do. And I think that's so important for MMORPG expansions.
Yeah.
To have end game repeatable content to do when it launches.
Yeah. Yep. And this is something that I think that they've acknowledged that was an issue with Path of Fire, that the map metas were kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
Which wasn't much of a reason to go back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. Aside, the thing is that the only one in Path of Fire that is even really worth farming isn't even a map meta, and it's the Pinata, right?
Right, because of the infusion.
Because of the infusion, yeah. But this is, they're at the same time introducing new strikes. They're also revamping the entire reward system for strikes as well. So this is going to include all of the other stuff that already exists. So everything from Shiver Peaks to Bone Skinner. So that entire reward system is getting a revamp, because while we all love our Eternal Ice, doesn't really make sense in a sort of a Canthan theme, right? So getting a new universal reward, I think, is great. And combining that whole system together, saying we've got our older strikes, we've got our newer strikes, and we just want everybody to be involved. I think, I think it's a great way to go. A great way to go. Leave raids alone. Do a fractal every now and again, but I think strikes the future of endgame content in Guild Wars 2. Definitely. I'd love to see dungeons. Dungeons obviously is what we want, but I think strikes is the way that we're going to go, and I think that the challenge motes are going to give us some tricky stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
I miss dungeons.
There's so many now. Dungeons, fractals, raids, strike missions. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I like it.
I get to pick one.
I like it, but it's hard to develop for all of those different systems at the same time. And then one that gets neglected, like dungeons, or people even saying it's been forever since we had a raid wing. Our raid wing's even coming back, so it's tough. And then you have people questioning, that that content, and are we going to get more of it?
And I know people really don't want to hear this, and I know you're not going to like what I'm about to say, but raids are dead.
Raids are dead. They are.
Really?
The positive is that strikes can deliver a likewise experience, and we know from that live stream that they did that strikes will also contain story-driven characters. And that's why they didn't show any of the bosses, because it would be spoiling some of the story.
Spoiling the story.
So we know that strikes will
Yeah, but
also
is
have
that-
story-driven characters as well.
But is
Imagine-
that gonna be because they have their own stories, or is it gonna be, oh, they took this boss encounter from the End of Dragons campaign?
Well, they
Maybe.
might just be
Repurposed it.
boss encounters of important characters or
Yeah.
something. But
Yeah.
but don't you think sometimes, like Path of Fire, I think had an amazing story. I really love the Path of Fire
liked it.
story.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that final Balthazar fight, which was very good, that totally could be a raid or strike encounter.
Totally.
Yeah,
Each
definitely.
Make that repeatable content.
Eater of Souls could be a strike as well. Like,
Yeah,
consider,
and I think that's what we'll
consider
see.
how hard
I
people
think
found
that's
it
what they'll do.
pre-nerf, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
not an easy
cheesed it.
fight, to be fair. It's not an easy fight, to be fair. But having something like that with some inbuilt mechanics as a strike, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think strike missions in general are more accessible to people.
Definitely.
And that's a big plus. For
It's less
that
of a
content being
commitment
played.
going in as well, like as a time commitment, as you know. I
Yeah.
think like it's just accessible in every way.
Yeah, and the thing is like the whatever Twitch chat you go in, whichever content creator in Guild Wars 2 that you follow, there's always going to be a lot of love for raids. So I know it's very easy for the community, for the active community, to disagree with what we're saying. But there was a figure released. I mean, take stock of it what you will, because the real number is much likely much higher. There's a site where you can see social media interactions, and it bases a calculation about how many people logged into the game last month. And Guild Wars 2 was around 100,000. Right? If I expect it is much, much higher. But if you're on the internet, even if you're watching this, which is arguably sort of, the most casual friendly, or one of the most casual friendly Guild Wars 2 podcasts, even if you're watching this, never mind things that focus on raids, never mind if you go into onto Reddit and discuss raid builds and all that, the fact that you're even on Twitch watching a show about Guild Wars 2 means that you are a very small demographic of the community that cares about this kind of thing. Now you filter those people out who don't even play raids, but they want to hear people talk about it and play them, and then you have something like the actual player base that plays raids. And I think it is a much smaller number than anyone will admit to.
Yeah.
And I think that's why ArenaNet won't release that number. And as great as some of the raid wings are, like, it's one of those things that there aren't enough.
It'll cost them so much money.
Yeah.
Like in terms of dev time and things like that. Like
For
all
a
the new
teeny
assets
tiny
that are
part
in
of the
there.
player base to enjoy them.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
get that raid, or you get 3 or 4 strike missions that everyone can enjoy. Like like there is no question about that to me there. So,
and it works in games like WoW, where like raiding is sort of the game, like an expansion drops and it's there's the story and stuff like that, but everything's all pushing you into the funnel to get ready for raids. It's like the main appeal. Like, and Guild Wars just isn't and hasn't really ever been that kind of game, to be honest.
We're going casual again, guys. The heart
dude.
The heart of one's approach is dead.
AFK
Casual
fishing.
again.
I know we're short on time, but I just want to really quickly mention I'm excited for World vs. World Alliances. That's going to be going into beta testing before the end of the year.
Yes, finally.
And new Guild Hall.
New Guild Hall.
Yeah, that's hype.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Canthan Guild Hall. We're going to live there forever.
Oh, we are.
Forever. And fishing. We get to fish as a guild in the Guild Hall. So excited. Yes.
That's
a lot of good stuff coming with this expansion, guys. So excited. If the news keeps rolling out, maybe we could start doing some guild gabs more regularly, but ArenaNet's got to keep us interested, and I think they're going to. I really think they're going to. I have a lot of faith that this is going to be like
I'll have a lot to say after the necro test.
You will.
Yes. Let us know where we can find you guys on the internet, Alex.
Right, so I live twitter.com, twitch.tv/Metallics. The E is a 3 because someone already has Metallics with an E, which is very unfortunate.
It makes you more elite.
It makes me more elite because it is 2007. But yeah, so follow me on Twitter, Metallics, and on Twitch. I do obviously Guild Wars 2 stuff, but we have lots of discussion about why Iron Maiden are the greatest band on the face of the planet. And there's some guitar stuff coming out as well. There's my YouTube channel where I did a Dragon Bash song called Dragon Bash Boogie, which is fun to do. And I'm currently writing one about agony resistance, and it's
Nice.
it's filthy. It's so bad. So that's what I'm up to, yeah.
All right. Corvus, what are you up to?
I'm just chilling, man.
That's good.
You can
Chilling.
follow me on Twitter at CorvusPlays, and I'm also on YouTube. I do have some music I'm working on, so that'll probably be going up on YouTube at some point. But it's been a while since I posted there, so I'm very
Back from the
optional.
dead, a
I'm
revival.
optional. I'm side content right now.
Corvus
so
is
just-
not optional. He's not.
But yeah,
Thanks.
follow me on Twitter if you want.
Yes. Feel free to pop your links in chat too.
So
Inks.
Twitter, unfortunately, is a weird one. It's mo_inks, and
Mo Inks.
yeah,
It's where you go to get Mo.
Inks.
Mo Inks.
Oh, it's so bad. And YouTube is just at MMO Inks. So the YouTube is much more simple. So there you go. Been putting out some Guild Wars 2 content, really some brief news recaps. I've been trying to keep them a bit on the shorter side and just sort of deliver the information without expanding too much into, personal content and so forth. So working on that right now.
Where can we
Nice.
find you, AuroraPeachy?
You can find me everywhere at AuroraPeachy. No underscores. The last time we did GuildGab, I had the underscore in my Twitch name.
Oh,
That's how
wow.
long it's been. Hey.
Crazy.
I know, craziness. So yeah, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. I'm making regular content on all three. Guild Wars 2 Tuesdays are back here on Twitch. So come by every Tuesday and we'll hang out in Guild Wars 2, working on the Season of the Dragons achievement, trying to get my precursor and my legendary trinket. Fun stuff. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will hopefully see you in another GuildGab soon, talking about some elite specs maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I think that would be amazing. Thank you for all the support today, guys. Once again, if you're watching this on YouTube, scroll down into the description, and everybody's links to all of their places are down there, so please check them out and follow everybody. And we will see you guys next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah.